The Wild Wild West.
Started. We're here, dude. Thanks again. I'm good. Thank you. I'll keel over and die.
Oh, I know. These are awful.
Nah, I'd probably be fine, but I'll just start like salivating. They make me like feels like when I would like steal cigars when I was little, you have too much nicotine. My stomach gets all fucking crampy
I
and weird.
projectile vomited the other day. I got the 6s. And I've been doing these 3s and I forgot and just, I'd taken vitamins and I was like sort of like compulsively putting them on, and then just out of the blue, just suddenly like, just a spray of vitamins.
It's like a kid in the woods when you and your friend do dip and like they swallow the spit and they're like, blah.
So fucked up, man.
Kind of tight though.
Yeah, it felt weird.
What time was this? Was this like the middle of the day?
It was right before I do this live thing with my Patreon. So I had to be like, excuse me. And I go and just fucking projectile vomit and then just wipe my face off like some heroin junkie. You know, and then just start the show.
You're like, thank you for our sponsors.
Yeah, thank you to Zen.
I'm trying to get addicted to nicotine. I take them, but it's just like I get like a spicy throat and my stomach starts like I get like hiccups and shit.
That's poison.
Oh, well.
I mean, that's your body reacting to poison. I'm trying to get into arsenic, you know, but just say.
Well, everyone does them. I'm like, I want them, dude. I want to take them and then like write like a Hemingway-esque novel.
Oh, yeah. That's definitely what they do. Oh, my God. My writing skills, 50% better on Zen. It's amazing.
Well, dude, thanks for doing this for real. I appreciate it, man.
Anytime.
I was pumped, man.
So excited to hang out with you.
Thanks for coming down. My new thing now is a take charge attitude. I'm a take charge, can do attitude. So
fuck yeah.
We're starting this thing up right now. We got your Zen Zen. I got my fucking matcha.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, man. Well, dude. So I don't know how to start. I always feel weird starting these out, but like I know you. I know your stuff. I saw the Midnight Gospel. I had to watch the last couple of nights. I started watching that. Very fucking sick.
Thanks, man.
So how like not to be too formal or weird, but like what was like your early experiences like? Like what got you into all this stuff? I don't know if you're like trajectory or anything. Like, I don't know like how you came to be.
Into the Midnight Gospel or into what?
Life in general.
Oh, dude.
Starting at childhood. I'm thinking about that because your mom was a therapist.
And she got banged by my dad.
There we go. Patient or no?
What? Was he a patient?
Was he a patient or?
Was he a patient of hers?
Was
no,
he
this
an
is before
sand?
she became a therapist.
Really?
Yeah. So, no, but he was a patient. She was visiting him. She was doing like service work. And so he was a patient at the Brunswick. It closed down, but it was what they call like mental asylums. You know, I don't think they call them that anymore, but he was at a mental asylum. She was doing like service work. She'd bring them food or little toys and stuff because like they like to play with toys.
Sure.
And so she brought him. As you know, she loved telling the story. She brought him this like a baby rattle. Oh, you'd be surprised how many people in mental asylums just fucking love baby rattles. That's me. Sorry.
It's all good.
Hold on one second.
Are you fucking with me? Is this a real story?
Yeah. Shit. Okay, hold on. Sorry. I'm so sorry. I don't know how to turn this off. It measures my blood sugar.
It's all good. Blood sugar is important.
So, they love rattles and stuff. Various toys, bells, and all that pacifiers. But he loved this fucking rattle, and he lost it. But she bought an extra rattle.
Yeah.
So she gave him that. He was so happy, so exuberant. The way she put it is like she just saw through the madness, the history of crime and stuff that people like that go through, and they made love.
What?
In the asylum. She gets fired. You can't hump in a mental asylum, right? He gets out because of some kind of like loophole, and then they get married.
What?
And
that was just.
That's
Are you fucking with me?
Yes, that is not a true story. I'm so sorry. I don't know why I do that stuff.
I knew you were fucking with me, but then I didn't want to be like, yeah, right, you're lying.
I'm sorry. You did a good job pretending you believe me.
I half believed you.
Okay.
I'm a very gullible person.
Yeah, man. I don't know. Like, I don't know the answer to that question. I am too.
We have to start preconception.
I don't know. Do you know that thing where you try to figure out why you are where you're at?
Yeah.
And then
you
can't. And none of it really makes sense. Like in the same way, like you wake up from a dream, 1 second you're like in a cave there was a tiger stalking outside the cave. The next second, you're in a bar with an ex-girlfriend. But in the dream, you don't think like, what the fuck? There was just a tiger.
Yeah.
It's similar. It feels the same way in waking life. I know what you're talking about.
I had a very embarrassing dream last night.
Yeah.
It wasn't anything like terrible. Like it was just the thing I think about a lot is how I used to always pride myself. For a while, I got deluded to the point where I was like, I don't like care about stuff other people care about. Other people care about that shit, but not me. Yeah. I'm not. I don't. It's like you're doing it in your head. Like I'm not one of those people who like compare myself to other people. I'm way above it, and I've been like paying attention to that because I was reading this book on like Jungian stuff about how your brain sends you basically images from the external world to try to like explain your internal world to you through the images.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, I was kind of pumped on that. I had a dream last night. This is the state the reality of my life. I had a dream last night. I'm in a car and someone's like, yo, it's Obama. And I'm like, I don't even care. And he went to go talk and he went to fall and he like slipped and I went to catch him. And then like my bicep was bulging and I was like, got you, bro. No big deal. And I turned to everyone like, did you see my bicep right there? Then I woke up and I'm like, God damn it, dude.
Oh,
I care just like everybody else. I know. It was such a pathetic dream to be like, yo, did you guys see my bicep?
Dude.
And it is funny how your brain just sends you messages where you're like, yeah, I'm above that shit.
Oh my God. Your brain, it's so for the little cries for help. They're like just sad, pathetic neurological attempts to like get you back to where you are. But it's amazing, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, I know. It's just the whole situation here is just ridiculous. I mean, we're thwarted constantly with this thing that we have to keep feeding and bathing. And
well, what's the problem? You can't deny it. I try to deny it all the time. I try to do a thing. I didn't watch porn for try to make it for a year.
Nice. Good job.
I made it for 9 months, but it was pretty good. But then you just start thinking about it constantly. You're like, well, I might as well be watching. I'm thinking about it a lot. And it's just this like vicious loop. I can never.
That's it. Yeah. You just, you haven't really quit anything if you're constantly thinking about it. You've just internalized the addiction and you're getting off on the echo that's binging around in your head. Though it's like, health, when you're not thinking about how you feel, you're healthy. That means health usually is just like a lack of symptoms to the point where you're just taking that current state for granted.
True.
So like when you really kick something, you don't even think about it anymore. It's just gone. When the relationship is truly over when you're not thinking about the person anymore. It's the quality of the mind that like engulfs external reality and then echoes it, simulates it, resurrects it, kills it nonstop. That is very frustrating for sure.
Yeah, it sucks, man. Especially when you think you're above it all. And you have the dream, dude, where you're gripping Obama and you're like, just so you know, I'm not impressed by you at all. Everyone, did you just see what I just did?
Above it all. I want to be above it all. I want to breach like a fucking whale right out of the default reality and look down on all these worldlings and roll my fucking whale eyes, and then just go back down. Like, I guess I'll be with you worldlings for a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But it just, you can't. The problem is, if everything you see is an approximation, a neurological approximation made by your mind, and then you can't be above anything because everything you're seeing is your mind. So how the fuck do you get above that?
Fuck.
Exactly. It's you. You're fucking, you're seeing, it's like on Twitter. My big Twitter epiphany is I'm like scrolling through my timeline. I'm just like, God damn, man, fucking Twitter sucks. This shit is everyone's so fucking negative. And then I remember I followed every one of these people. Like I decided to tune into their realities. They're not burdening me with whatever the fuck it is they're bitching about. I invited them in. This is all my fault.
I did. It's your universe. It's a creation of yours. Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole timeline, the absurd stuff. Yeah. That's the weird thing online right now where it's like, it's just fun to send reels and stuff to each other. Like, look at this fucking cringy loser. And you send it to your friend. He's like, yeah, he's a fucking piece of shit. And then you're like, haha. And then I'll catch myself doing this for hours. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing?
Oh, it's the best. Little mini crucifixions.
Yeah. Check out this fucking loser.
Fucking nail him to the cross of judgment.
Well, if you walk around in public, and it is like, this is the vicious circle of it. Cause it's like, I like listen to when people talk, I like eavesdrop. And I swear to God, it's 90% of the time. You'll see two ladies, two guys, whoever. A lot of times I can hear the ladies' conversation better, but like they'll be like fucking like they're always talking about another person.
Always.
How they're failing. I swear to God, if you just sit around in like a public place, it's nonstop conversations about like fucking Cynthia's fucking bitch. Yeah. And I'm like, I'll be like, dude, people are so fucking negative. And I'm like, oh, I'm talking shit on them. And it's like.
Exactly. You're judging them. They're judging Cynthia. Cynthia's a bitch. I bet Cynthia's a bitch. But why is she a bitch? She's a fucking bitch because everyone around her is talking shit about other people. And
True.
Then, so it's just echo. It's a fucking never ending neurological echo parading around like the universe. And it's just totally normal to see you and me as different. I mean, we are
obviously
clearly
we're supreme,
supreme. We rise. What is it you're saying in the green room that you said? I rise above humanity like what'd you say? Was it eagle or falcon? It was beautiful.
I do this to other people. Don't do this to me.
You did it there.
I like putting terrible things in their mouth.
Misquotes.
Yeah, true.
The best. Well, don't. I mean, I just like. For the where it gets really hilarious is so then, okay, so you are upset because you have not met your whatever particular ridiculous spiritual watermark you're supposed to be at, which for a lot of people is just like it's insane. Like I don't even know what that is. Like, are you numb? You're supposed to be like this numb Jesus who's like nothing touches you, nothing moves the needle.
Anything short of that, I'm furious.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, right. So the final curse is that you end up talking shit about yourself to yourself. So, first you're talking shit about other people or you're mentally confabulating what's wrong with them. Then you're mad at yourself because you recognize this is not a way to live. If I'm going to be perturbed by other people's idiocy, then I'm just going to be in hell. Look at you, you pathetic piece of shit, sitting at a fucking Whole Foods, eavesdropping like a pervo on fucking.
So accurate.
You sick fuck. What's wrong with you? So first you're crucifying them. They're crucifying Cynthia. You're crucifying a simulated version of them. Then you crucify a simulated version of yourself.
Oh, it doesn't stop.
And it's a never-ending iterative wave of crucifixions. Everyone's just nailing fucking nails through hands all day long.
All day, every day.
And it's exhausting. Have you ever tried to crucify someone? I mean,
it's tough.
I bet one thing they were happy about with Jesus, I bet he was pretty easy.
He was thin,
to crucify, but he's also kind of, I don't see him fighting. Like, he didn't struggle. There's no punching. He's just let them. But I bet, like, a lot of other people in those days did not take
spitting in your face and stuff.
Spitting in your face.
Yeah.
Puking on you.
Dude.
Fear piss. Fear sweat. Fear stink.
I always talk to people, and they're always like, dude, I'm like, it was probably so different back then. Like, it wasn't that different. I'm like, yeah, it fucking was, dude. You'd walk and see, like, a dude's head on a spike.
Yeah.
Like, that's way different. Even if people still argued and shit, like, to walk outside your house and see a dude's severed head.
For like doing something not that bad, probably. God damn it. I don't know how to turn it off. I'm going to explain the backstory of this, and it's really embarrassing.
So your mom had sex with a mental patient.
Yeah.
I can't believe you lied to me, dude.
I'm sorry. That was a cheap joke.
No, that was really funny, because I was like, there's no way this is real. Then you're like, and then they made love, and I'm like, I mean, I could kind of see it.
Let me see if I can turn this thing up.
Dude, you should probably keep it up if it's going to be. Is that life-saving medical technology?
No, the problem is I don't think you can change. I can change the alert sounds, which is really fun. Ambulance, siren, screaming woman.
Fuck, I think
you're gonna die. Grim Reaper yelling, "You're gonna die." Hold on one second. This is really bad podcasting. I'm so sorry. The problem is because I have a little ear infection, so I had to get on steroids to here we go to clear my ear, and it pushes your blood sugar up when you're on steroids. So this asshole all day long is like,
there's no like wire connected. That's just taking the glucose measurement.
It connects to this needle that's stuck in my arm here. Gotcha. So I get constant blood sugar reports, which is the most annoying fucking thing, because my wife, like, thank Jesus, it used to connect to my wife's phone and it just stopped which is just so great.
So she would get kind of like if you ate a cookie, you were like a car alarm. You would start, your thing would go off.
I'm like one of those. Yes, a tagged animal. She could track me, knows my fucking blood sugar level at every goddamn fucking second.
Damn.
And it's wonderful because she's just trying to keep me alive. But
for sure,
it's obviously very annoying.
It does take the fun out of who stole the cookies from the cookie jar.
It does.
Like who? Me? Couldn't be. And it's like.
And she'll be like, I don't want you to do what happened to Bob Saget to happen to you.
What happened to him? Didn't he get like hit in the head with a hammer or something?
He did. It wasn't blood sugar. He fucking like had a bloody. It was something terrible in a hotel room that no one understands. But still, it's like, can you not put that in my fucking head?
True.
When I'm about to go on the road.
Oh, like you're gonna die. She's worried you're gonna die in a hotel room.
Yeah, now when I'm like taking a shower after a show, I'm like, and look down at the floor. I'm like, oh, what if I slip and fucking hit my head, and then her thing starts going off, and
Yeah, I think about that with old age. It's like because they all take tumbles. When you're old, you fall and like break your femur, and you have to know like it's coming.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's just so scary. They get stuck in bathtubs.
Do you think we should let them drive, super old people?
No.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I mean, if I'm not allowed to drive after a couple of vodka sodas,
that's a good point.
Why the fuck are you allowed to drive when your brain is
you're dying,
pulpified and melting? It's like you have triple vision. Weird, blurry shit. You're on a cocktail of medication. So, go ahead. No, drive all day long. Yeah. But 2 vodka sodas, your car's gone. Yeah,
you don't know what day it is. Yeah, I saw an old couple cutting through. I was like watching them drive, like kind of arguing with each other, and both slumped over the wheel. And I'm like, you really do become a child again. Then I was like, holy fuck, they're driving.
Yeah, they're driving.
That's terrifying.
Nothing.
I saw an old lady run over people outside of church one time. She just spaced out and just slowly. It wasn't too fast, but she fucking 10 miles an hour with a car does fuck you up. Dude. She was like bonk and just hit like 3 people.
I cannot get this out of my head. It was some awful dark piece written by a forensic, like a person who does autopsies and describing the look on the face of a grandmother after she's backed the car over her grandchild's head.
Oh.
The smell of the grandchild's brain in the air.
Yeah.
I can't get that out of my head.
Brain?
Yeah, I guess brains.
No, it would stink. Yeah, it would smell like a fucking.
Brains are pungent.
Nasty cut.
Yeah, there's apparently a brain smell. At least if you're like an autopsy.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Master. I don't know what they call them. Then Autopsy Master is a good show. Yeah. But you Autopsy Master. Like
just dead bodies.
Chef Gordon Ramsay.
That might be where it goes, man. Women might get sick of like true crime and just start watching like horrific autopsies.
Yeah,
just like cutting dead people open.
Oh God, you ever meet an undertaker?
No.
Oh boy.
Only for a second. It was outside a funeral. He said, "Hey, so sorry." I said, "Thank you, sir."
You're like, "Yeah, sure you are. You're fucking sorry I didn't buy the premium casket."
Yeah, it'd be funny if they're listening to comedy podcasts too outside and there's like,
dude, they are. It's a business. That's a fucking huge booming business right now, especially in.
That must have been nice, yeah, during COVID and stuff, just being like cha-ching, dude. Imagine watching the news and be like 100,000 people died and being like, yes.
You're just like, oh, fuck
yes,
yeah,
payday.
Dude, this is better than Bitcoin. This is better than crypto. This is the real crypto.
It's got to be crazy when they get slow. When you're like, yo, come on, man.
Come on.
And then finally someone dies, and you're like, thank fucking God, dude.
Yeah, that's the, like, anytime I go to a doctor, I can't, just because, as comedians, we're always thinking about selling tickets and what you're charging for tickets, how are you doing at shows.
Yeah.
And, that's in anyone's mind who has a business.
Oh, yeah.
And you go to the doctor and it's a strange form of like almost prostitution in the sense that the ideal is I will tend to your wounds because the reward from tending to these wounds is all I need.
Yeah.
That's the fantasy of the healer.
Yeah.
But
Hippocrates, snake, and all that shit.
Yeah. But they need to have kids.
For sure.
It's expensive they're getting sued nonstop. It's expensive they have medical debt or medical school debt, usually hundreds of thousands of dollars.
They're way in debt.
Up there, underwater. And like, like when you go in there and they give you a diagnosis, they've already calculated, oh, great, that's another at least 60 grand this year.
True.
Like for sure, I'm going to like make $60,000 more because.
Yeah, my brother was saying, so one of my uncles just had like, he's fine, thank God, but he had like a little thing of cancer, and he was saying you go in there and you're like, it's like an airport terminal now. Like it's just like a big building with a ton of people in seats, and they're just blasting them, radiate, leave, radiate. And he's like, dude, it's like the DMV. You're sitting there with a ton of people.
Oh yeah,
Just blasting.
Radiation clinics. I got radiation, and it's just like you're sitting around like everyone's just like, oh, this sucks so fucking bad, and it's so expensive. You go in there, they put a lead cod piece on my dick.
Like a cup?
Yeah, to keep you from becoming infertile.
Oh.
And the music, they are playing music that they like. You know, they're not asking you, what music do you want to listen to while you're getting irradiated? So they're
it's
playing.
Like Lady Gaga.
Yes! Exactly.
It's nurse music, yeah.
Or like they're not thinking about, like once I was in there and they were playing Celebrate Good Times and Celebration. It's like, fuck you, man. I'm getting a laser of fucking death shot in my lymph nodes. You're playing this bull. You're making fun of me at that point.
Yeah, you're rubbing it in. Yeah, you're getting like the Darth Vader fucking that shit that they destroy planets with.
Yes, into my, and it's just so the when it hits that level of just profit motive and they know, man, people have worked to figure out how do we make it faster, like. What is the maximum dose of radiation that we can give to make it faster with the least possibility of some negative impact on the patient?
Want to, like, explode.
But you want to keep them fucking moving. Like, let's get out. And you're like, come on, guys. Meetings are probably, guys, you can get that fucking cod piece on faster.
True.
You got to get that shit faster, man. If we can fit in 2 more people a day in the course of a year, that's $500,000.
True, yeah, they get you pumped up. Yeah, that's fuck, dude. Now I'm thinking maybe they know how to do it and like keep your hair in, but they want your hair to fall out. So people are like, oh yeah, I got my shit done. Like that way they know, like you're advertising radiation. You're like, yeah, I got radiation. Like I should probably get that. Right
yeah,
now.
Dude.
I might get it. I might just get blasted.
Oh, it sucks. You'll
I heard
hate
it's terrible. Yeah,
it's terrible. Makes you sick.
It's like preventative medicine though. Just go once a year and I might start getting chemo.
Just fucking get chemo once. Preventative chemo.
Prophylactic chemo.
Why not?
Yeah, what the fuck?
Burn it out.
Yeah, but don't reject. My body will regenerate. That'd be nice.
Yeah, it might not.
Yeah, sure.
I think
I might get very sick.
They were telling me, when I was choosing between radiation and chemo, because I was thinking the same thing. Like, let's just fucking firebomb.
What's the difference?
One of them can like the doctor was just like, get radiation. You're the
it's
statistical.
like more local. Yeah.
You know, when you get cancer, it becomes the worst gambling game of your life because it's all just probabilities. So if you get chemo, you will have maybe 1% less chance of the cancer recurring with testicular cancer. I think you're starting to, but if you do, but your lungs might turn into goop. Your lungs might just fucking dissolve. Now, if you get radiation, there's a 1% more of a chance that it won't catch it. It won't do it. And you might become infertile. So you're like, okay, lungs into goop, become infertile, 1%. What's that 1% look like?
Yeah.
So you have to make all these weird decisions that they can't make for you. You have to choose.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. But chemo, it from what I've heard, like,
nasty.
It's nasty, but
yeah, I've talked to people who've done it. It's
super high.
Never
feels
happy about
good.
it.
You get
you get
beautiful high.
Get the chemo high.
Oh yeah, just black. Oh boy, it's psychedelic.
I can smoke weed now. Sick,
dude. No, I don't. I'm happy that you're. For anybody out there, like, is recovered from man, because it's a scary diagnosis. It's
terrifying,
but less scary than it used to be.
True. COVID was everyone had to face death at once. That was the best. I did like that about that. Everyone had to be like, I might die.
Me too.
I was living there. I've been living there for years. So when everyone met me at like something terrible is happening, we're all gonna die. I was like, I know, dude. I've been thinking this every day my whole life, dude.
Yeah, there was welcome to reality. It was a nightmare scenario because like I think to keep shit running the way we've got it running, you really need to in the West, you get that idea out of people's heads. So you don't want people thinking about death. You think about death, your priorities are going to change. You need the priority to be on like, getting cool shit, getting a six pack, whatever, improving the way you look or improving your surroundings in some way. But the moment the whole planet has to like suddenly realize that we could die at any time. I was wiping my groceries down, spraying my groceries with fucking weird, probably very not good for you. Chemicals and just you did in the beginning when we had no idea what it was.
Yeah, nothing.
Could be anything.
I just had a kid. I had my first kid as soon as it started, and it was just like I just told my wife like, bro, this is just frontier rules. Like we'll just see what happens. Like
same. I had a fresh pandemic baby.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was wild, man.
It was cool because I gambled like whatever. Like it is what it is. And then like it all panned out and I was like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
I knew it.
Yeah.
I don't know what I was right about. I was like, I knew it.
Dude, yeah, there was an underlying sense that this is probably going to be okay. I felt that too, but they probably felt that during the Spanish flu in the beginning.
True.
They probably felt that during bubonic plague. Just whatever, a few people here and there.
Yeah, it'll just be a month.
Yeah, it'll be a month. Oh, I remember that. You're like, we'll be back to normal soon. Oh, it's so wild that we went through that. And it was just a few years ago. It's also amazing that we've almost gone back to normal.
That was the fucked up part. We didn't even get like a break. There wasn't even like, hey guys, that was really fucked up. Everyone just chill out for like a week. It was just like fade it right back into normal life.
Hell
and
yeah,
I was just
quick.
like, wait, what the fuck was that all about?
It's about, you got to get the economy moving again. It's like,
true.
Shit, this thing is going to collapse if we don't get it back to normal. They had to get it back to normal.
Yeah.
My friend, that was his scary prediction. He's like, I'll tell you what's going to happen. Everything's just going to go back to normal. And no one's going to think about it much anymore. And that's what's the real scary shit. It's like humans we bounce right back into the old pattern.
True.
But what do you want? Like what's the new pattern that
a new holiday? I said we should have had a new holiday.
COVID day.
Yeah, exactly. Like a COVID-19th kind of thing where it was like you got out. It was the day we were like, we're done with that. We've rid ourselves of the nasty virus.
Yeah.
And everyone has a day where they just like go outside and
fucking day off.
Yeah, do something. I don't know. We should commemorate that.
Yeah, you'd think. I mean, we commemorate other shit that seems far less important.
It's a teacher appreciation day.
Give me a fucking break. Let's replace that with COVID day.
That's what I'm saying, COVID day. And I'm trying. What would you do? I'm trying to think. What would the holiday be?
The holiday.
Close talk. Everyone close talks.
No, it's gonna be like attacking other people on Twitter for.
You're wrong.
You're right. Yeah. Like it's like what do they call it? What's that? The philosophical. I hate it when people do this, though, man. I hate it when people are familiar with the philosophical argumentative errors,
logical fallacies.
You're
gaslighting my straw man and blah, blah, blah.
That shit. It's like suddenly you're in the game of chess with someone you wanted to have a conversation with, and now they're doing. But it's appeal to authority.
Yeah.
So that was that was like the culture of the pandemic was appeal to authority. You don't know shit. Who are you? You're just a dumb fuck. I know you. You're an idiot. You don't know anything about fucking science. Why are you suddenly an expert on fucking science on either side of the fence?
Yeah.
Either you are an expert on how masks don't work, the vaccines are deadly, or suddenly you are an expert on the other side, and no one...
Dude, I would try to retain that information. I'd watch like a 20-minute video of a guy being like, and then if you look at the double-blind placebo, and I'm like, all right, I got that part. And then they'd be like, and then it's a 0.03 variability rate. I'm like, all right, I could probably, my brain will like figure that one out if I just keep going. I would just try to tell people about it. I'm like, I don't know, man.
And you're smart. Like if you can get to if you can get past the double-blind study, you're doing great.
True.
You went to college.
Yeah, I got my master's in social work.
There you go. So you had to take statistics.
You don't though. They you take statistics and they're like, you don't have to know any of the math. Just know that like if you don't have a big enough sample size, the study's probably bullshit.
I remember that.
Oh, that makes sense.
I remember that.
So like N equals 53. That's not a lot of people. And I was like, that makes sense.
But you
have to do any of the math.
You had to learn the scientific method. You understand why some research makes it into scientific journals, why some doesn't. You understand how stringent and fucked up anything you want to anything you're doing that could change the science or change no matter how infinitesimally minute, it goes through such a never-ending, rigorous series of analyses that by the time it makes it in, it's like, holy fuck, that's probably true. But, you know, I don't think most people understand that. And to add insult to fucking injury, suddenly people were like, don't do your own research, advising against people even trying to illuminate themselves on what any of the shit means. Everyone's getting these like I don't know, really dumbed down summaries of intense scientific research that is confusing to the scientists themselves, who a real scientist will say, I don't know.
You have no idea.
We have no idea. This could be something. We don't know. Science is never like, this is it.
Yeah, this is
no, we did. It's always like, well, right now, this is where we're at.
Yeah.
But it could change at any second.
Yeah.
So the whole thing fucking sucked. And you got medical fascists out there, and you got fucking people who are like one blackout away from burning witches, and they're fighting each other, and it just fucking sucked.
It was awesome though. Yeah, it was really shitty and very sad for everybody, but it was like, it was cool though to watch everyone just kind of have to take a second and be like, holy fuck, I might die. My whole family might fucking die. And then everyone got real weird. Everyone got into weird shit. I got super weird. I was like in my basement constantly. Dude, I was trying to start like I've always been real into psychology, but I started trying to start this whole thing where I was like, I'm going to reconceptualize psychology as it is. I'm going to like start like an AA thing, but not for people on drugs, and then it'll spread online.
Cool.
And then like I don't even know what the fuck I'm doing. I'm like, I'll like train people in this modality, and they'll train other, and then I just like, yeah, that's a pipe dream. That's not gonna, and like pandemic ended, and I was like, what the fuck was I doing? What was I up to?
Oh yeah, you were almost Isaac Newton. I mean, the difference.
I was close. Yeah, if I could have fucking taken a longer break, I would have figured it out.
You have to be a maniac like those people. That's the other thing. The picture of the scientist is this pristine, stable, normal person.
Yeah.
Newton had mercury in his hair. Like when he died, his hair had mercury in it.
He was fucked up.
He was in his fucking lab fucking with mercury, trying to like build the Temple of Solomon.
Listen, guys, tons of people are going to be on the road this holiday season, and you need to be careful if you're driving.
Fuck are you? Stop fucking coughing.
Excuse me? Listen, guys, tons of people are going to be traveling on the road this holiday season, and you need to be careful if you're traveling. If you find yourself in some kind of crazy freak accident this Christmas, turn to Morgan & Morgan. They're America's largest injury law firm. They have over 100 offices nationwide and more than 800 lawyers ready to fight for you. They've recovered over $15 billion for over 300,000 clients, so they have a great track record of getting people the compensation they deserve. Submitting an injury claim sounds annoying and stressful, but Morgan & Morgan truly makes it easy. They've been fighting for the people for over 35 years, and they'll be ready to fight for you too. If you're ever injured, you can check out Morgan & Morgan. Their fee is free unless they win. For more information, go to forthepeople.com/drenched or dial pound law, pound 529 from your cell phone. That is forthepeople.com/drenched or pound law, pound 529 from your cellular phone. This is a paid advertisement. It's time to break out the big guns this Christmas and get Mom an Aura frame. Aura makes digital picture frames that will replace her old photo albums. You can curate your own photo playlist and even add videos that get shown in super high quality. Invite others to share their own photos to the frame too, so you'll constantly be seeing new memories pop up. Oh, I love these things. I literally have them all over the house. My mom has 50 of them, and she cherishes all of the pictures. She kisses the screens. I say, Mom, it's me, Matt. I send her videos like this. I say, Mom, it's me, Matt. Kiss me. And there's just that all down the hallways. And I have one where I just follow her with my eyes like a haunted house. They make great gifts for your parents, siblings, or friends. Set them up with a personalized photo playlist and wait for the waterworks. Listeners can save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com/MSSP. That's AURA frames.com/MSSP. Use promo code MSSP to get $30 off their best-selling frames. Get yours now, so it arrives in time for the holidays. Terms and conditions apply. Also, you'll see if it arrives for the holidays. But, all right. When the weather outside is frightful, you are going to want to layer up with True Classic. Everything is ridiculously comfortable, fits perfectly, and honestly, I look great. Their lightweight puffer jackets, dude, their lightweight puffer jackets are amazing and will definitely have you ready for the wintertime. Water resistant with a great fit, it is a definite staple in my wardrobe. Pair the puffer jacket with True Classic's comfort jeans and you'll be all set. They've got the classic look of regular jeans, but molded to the midsection with a four-way stretch, so you won't have to unbutton them to sit down on the couch. The four-way stretch being your penis, your buttocks, and your hips. I love them personally. I wear their clothes all the time. They make my fucking chest look jacked as hell. Stock up on their goodies, t-shirts, and button-ups too, so True Classic can carry you through every season. Men, this is the perfect gift for you, but also a gift for her. So if you're ready to upgrade your closet, shop now with our exclusive link at trueclassic.com/drenched and save up to 25% off your first order. End the year with holiday cheer thanks to True Classic. Thank you. When you're finished sprucing up the tree for Christmas, spruce up those balls too. Manscaped has you covered with the Performance Package 5.0 Ultra. It comes with the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra for trimming the body and below the belt, meaning your penis. The Weed Whacker 2.0 ear and nose hair trimmer and everything else you'll need to make those crown jewels look, feel, and smell amazing. It are the best. I've shaved my whole body. I shaved my entire family's bodies with them. With a Manscaped skin-safe technology, you won't be hacking away at your skin while you're trying to clean things up. No nicks, no cuts, just a nice smooth shave. The Performance Package also comes with some comfy boxers to level up your underwear game and a classy travel bag to store your stuff. When you're done shopping for yourself, stock up on extras for Christmas gifts. Your loved ones and your wallet will thank you. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code DRENCHED at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with the free shipping at manscaped.com and use code DRENCHED. Give the gift to Manscaped this holiday season.
You know,
yeah, they're fucking nuts, man.
They're nuts.
If you read about Freud, he was a fucking weirdo. Young was a fucking. They used to pass out. Freud used to. I was reading this book. They were talking about his biographer was covering it, and I think Young covered it too. Where Freud passed out on 2 occasions. The first time was Young was telling him about the bogmen of northern Germany. So there was these guys who, like from prehistoric times, fell in this lake, and the lake had a certain type of acid in the water that melted their bones but leathered their skin.
Yeah.
So they dig up these bogmen, and Young's telling, they're like at a big like psychoanalysis luncheon. He's like, yeah, these guys are like preserved. And Freud would get all bugged out and be like, why are you talking about all these dead guys? He's like, I think you want me to die. You have a death wish against me. And he fucking would faint.
Oh my God.
Then the other time they're talking about like an Egyptian pharaoh. And they were like, Freud was like, yeah, that guy is such a bitch. And Young was like, no, he actually ruled. And Freud was like, passed out and woke up like, did you hate me so much? Because they were all like analyzing each other's intentions, but they were just paranoid.
They were just, I mean, if I was young and I'd hang out with Freud all the fucking time and knew I could make him pass out.
It's pretty tight.
By talking about mummies.
Young was humble bragging in that book he did, Memories, Dreams, and Reflections. He was like, yeah, I made Freud pass out.
I made him pass out, you nerd.
Fuck out, bitch.
But you would. If you could make Freud pass out, you'd do it too. There's a kid in elementary school, I don't know what his problem was, but for some reason, if food was mixed in front of him, he would throw up. And so, like, it's elementary school and
perfect.
Kids caught on that this is a possibility. So if you're bored at lunch and you're sitting with him, you would just start mixing your food, and you could always hear him go, no, don't do it. Please don't. Please don't. And they'd fucking start mixing the food, and everyone's laughing, and then he'd fucking barf. This is like a whole year of inducing, don't do it, please, don't do it.
So he was like crumple your sandwich up, and he'd be like, ah.
Exactly. And it was
that's
easy
crazy
to do. You just mix and mix. And yeah, so like that's what Jung was doing to Freud.
Yeah.
It was just no different than that, just aggression, and like Freud was oppressive anyway.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing to pass out when you're like supposed to be this famous someone healing others' minds.
Yeah.
You can't even hear a story about a fucking mummy without
man.
passing out, and then you're gonna be like, "You're trying to kill me."
Yeah, he's like, you just want to fucking kill me, dude. You hate me.
Yeah.
Why won't you say I'm right? Yeah, 'cause he would apparently. It's kind of a cool concept. They talk about homosexual self-reproduction, where back then, if you were, it's a funny idea, but they were saying like there's a level to which if you're like the material world's not good enough for you, having a family's not good enough for you, you want to take yourself and clone yourself into another male. It's called homosexual self-reproduction, where it's like, I'm going to fill you with all my knowledge. You have to propagate my knowledge. And the whole idea was that since Jung was like, nah, man, that's not my cup of tea, that it started threatening his, like, the part of him that would live on and, like, conquer death, basically.
Wow.
But that's why he was passing out, because Jung would be like, I'm kind of into mummies right now. And he'd be like, oh. He's like, I'm never going to live on forever. Just oh.
Wow, I didn't know that. I knew that they had tension between them.
Because he thought, he was like, you're going to carry this on. Because he came up with this idea, and as he got older, it started kind of coming, because he was like, it's all about fucking coming for the most, obviously there's more to it, but like, he was like, sex is the most important. And other people were like, nah, there's other stuff that's important.
Yeah.
And he would spaz and be like, dude, if you fucking say that, I'm going to kill you. Like, don't do that. You're fucking my shit up.
Fucking choke you till you're...
Like he was the ultimate Mr. Like he was like, I'm right. I've fully pinned down the human mind. I mean, maybe he wasn't that, whatever, but he was like, this is the deal.
Yeah.
Don't deviate. And all of his followers were like, I think it's about this. And he'd be like, you fucking asshole. That
is the sort of, there's a cult leader quality to him that is undeniable. And with Jung too, I mean, people thought Jung was like the next second coming of Christ. They thought he was so advanced, but he was.
I can't understand any of his shit. I read it, and I'm like, I don't fucking know what you're talking about.
Oh God, it is so mind warping, that stuff. Dude.
Yeah,
and he like his Red Book.
I tried that.
Yeah, really hard to understand that. And he live in a tower. He like ended up like living in a tower at one point. Like
yeah, he built a stone house for himself. And it was like with all this weird symbols and all this shit, and he just kind of like chilled there quietly. I don't think he even had electricity. I think he just like chilled out in the stone house and just was like, I'm the fucking man, dude.
Yeah.
Freud fucking sucks,
Fuck
dude.
Freud. I fixed everything.
It is tight though. He was a dream master though. He was like, I know about dreams. Fuck Freud, dude.
I remember reading about him. When he was like in school, if you're studying psychology, you would have to work in a mental asylum, and how some schizophrenic was like rambling about how the son had a cock, which would, the story that
I've heard. I think he might have talked about it in his autobiography. Go on.
And then he remembered some obscure book of like, I think it was African mythology, and the schizophrenic was completely articulating this really weird sub-branch of some form of like sun worship in Africa, but with great detail. And that was when he started tuning into this idea of the collective mind, that we all share a mind that's inhabited with the symbols that show up and stories. But the stories might be different culturally, but the symbol set is mostly the same. Really brilliant, actually.
Yeah, it's fucking sick, dude.
Freud hated that shit, though, because he wanted to be all square, and that stuff was so non-scientific to him, I think, right?
Yeah,
like,
he wanted to be like, you just want to bone your mom, dude. He's like, let's never forget that what's really important is boning our moms.
Yeah, you want to fucking fuck your mom. You want to fuck your sister. You want to suck your sister's fucking dick. She doesn't even have one. And it's driving you crazy.
You're sitting laying on the couch, like, you're fucking right.
You're right, okay.
I suck my sister's dick.
You did it. You broke through.
Yeah, especially because back then, sex was like, you really didn't talk about it at all.
No.
Like, dudes would get boners back then and be like, like their whole job was on the line.
Yeah, right.
They got a boner in like 1912, you'd be like, fuck, dude, I'm gonna get fired. Fuck, dude, I'm hard as a fucking nail right now.
Oh,
and you had to just hold it down, totally cool.
There's something so sexy about not being allowed to have a boner. It's like, there's something super hot about
exactly.
that.
It's a self-perpetuating loop.
Now you're just like, you're gonna be, especially if you're into like BDSM and you're gonna be a bad boy with a boner. Oh, fuck, I'm gonna get fired. Then my wife's gonna be so mad at me and I'm gonna have to say why I got fired. I got fired for uncontrolled boners.
You'd write your sister a letter and be like, I was so fucking hard at work today.
Just thinking about your dick that you would have if you were my brother.
Dick you would have if you were my brother.
Oh, God.
You have to lay on Freud's couch and be like, this is all normal, dude.
Oh,
This is what drives you.
Now you're getting to the nuts and bolts of who you truly are.
Now you can grind.
Can I play the song that I played for you? Speaking of sucking,
I meant to start
dick.
with that, yeah.
So this is this does connect everybody. I just want to play. This is like I'm.
What's the app called? Sorry, what's the app
So
called?
it's called Suno.ai. I wish I created it. I like keeping up to date on what's going on with AI in like the laziest way possible, which is I go to Reddit Artificial
Perfect
every few weeks, and there's updates on where it's at, and it's breathtaking because inevitably, like as a comedian, podcaster, well, I like to make songs for my intros, and that takes me a long time. And also, I don't have a great singing voice. So the advent of AI to me was very exciting because it's like, oh shit, I bet at some point this will sing songs and make music. But then, months ago, to pull that off, you needed basically a PC. You could do it on Mac, but you have to go like hacker.
Oh, you needed like a serious
You have to
setup.
learn coding. You have to learn a little bit of JavaScript. You have to know how to use these arcane libraries and like you go into the terminal.
Can you do that stuff? Can you do code
After
and stuff?
that? No, I'm not good. I can, but I can follow directions.
Gotcha.
You open the terminal on your Mac and then you access these weird databases and you download all these weird files. So the singing AI thing, where we have the image generators and stuff, you describe what you want, it does an image, that's cool. This is the same thing, but it does it for songs. And I've been following
Can't stop thinking about my sister's boner, dude. I'm sorry.
Dude, your sister's boner,
Sorry, dude.
in my mind, is so beautiful. No, because it sort of, like to me, your sister's boner transcends the penis. Do you know what I mean?
Way beyond.
It's the encapsulation of all penises. Is it perfect? No. But its imperfection is
but imagine
perfect.
being a dog under the table. You think they're going for food, they're not.
They want to suck your sister's dick. That dog, you got dogs anywhere she goes. They're like, you have sausage in your pocket?
I get
No.
so jealous of my dog's under the table. I'm like, get the fuck out from under the table.
Stop. Just stop. You're just doing what all of us want to do. You're free. Look at you, liberated. Outside of the fucking awful manacles of morality and ethics and our repressed thing, when everyone should just be under the table sucking my sister's dick right now.
So you wrote a song.
I didn't write it.
Oh, you prompted a song. You basically.
Okay, so one of the fun things when you get to play around with any kind of generative AI is that because the people who are making this available to everybody, they don't want to deal with bullshit. So they nerf the AI because, of course, the first thing you're going to do if you realize this thing will make songs for you is you're going to say, write a song about how great it feels to suck my sister's dick. And
or falling into your own butthole.
Yeah. Exactly. So if you try that, it will not do it.
It's so funny they got to deal with like the smartest people in the world have to be like, wait, what? Like, Jesus fucking Christ, let me put a safeguard against that.
Exactly. So then you get into this hilarious, fun kind of like trying to hack the AI.
Yeah.
Because now you have to start thinking, okay, well, it won't. Generally, the way these things work in the image generators too, you can't say underwear. It's not going to do underwear. It's not going to do cleavage. You can't say suck, slurp. Any mouth and lips, it might not even do. But so you have to find a way around that to achieve the same effect.
For sure.
And so this is just some songs. And the other astounding thing about it, I mentioned it to you earlier, is it generates this in like under 3 minutes. And Suno.ai, I love you guys.
Man.
Please don't ban me that I did this. It's just I won't keep doing it. Because like...
Yes, you will. Don't make promises you can't.
Okay, you're right. But I got banned from Discord at one point.
What?
And exactly. And the reason is because I'd been getting Mid-Journey, we were just curious, like, what can we make it do? And then, so of course we realized, sausage.
Perfect.
This is the way in. So, any celebrity you want, eating a beautiful sausage, and it generates like hilarious pictures. And then, you know, just like so weird. It's late at night. You know, I don't mean to call. I'm not trying to like fuck with anybody. It's just purely for me and my friends anyway. But yeah, out of the blue, I'm banned from Discord, and then it's for sure it's got to be.
You were using the app through Discord, you're saying?
Yeah, Midjourney is available through Discord.
Okay, I got you.
And so I don't even know what of the many horrific images we figured out how to generate, like a vat of. You can't say like a baby on fire, but for some reason it would let you say baby meat. So you could say like Bill Cosby eating a bowl of baby meat, and that would produce horrifying images. So you're just curious to see what.
For sure.
So anyway, that's a long setup for something really stupid.
No, this is a masterpiece.
So this is just using the same sausage hack that I use for Midjourney.
Sausage hack.
Or a hot dog hack, but with Suna.ai.
Sitting in the back, watching her walk down the aisle. In her white dress, tear in her eye. I couldn't help but remember those days gone by when we were kids, laughing under clear blue sky. Now she's all grown up, she's found her friends to love, found that I can't help but recall those memories from the floor on summer nights, a sweet innocence we shared.
Gets better, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's fine.
When she steal a bite of my hot dog, smiling without a care.
Oh wait,
That's kind of innocent. I could see a country song.
So that was the first one. So that's when I was okay. I can.
You're working into it, yeah.
So the prompt for that was just like it's a brother at a wedding, and his sister's getting married, and he's remembering how she used to
eat his hot dog.
Use a hot dog like a straw. Yeah. So that one kind of failed, but then this is where I figured it out.
It is innocent. Like my sister snuck a bite of my hot dog. You can almost see that in like a Keith Urban song.
Snuck a bite of a hot dog.
It raises eyebrows.
Fucked up, but it's still all right. I guess that's something.
So that was the first iteration.
That's the first, and then
At the picnic on a sunny summer day, my sister caught my eye in a playful way.
Yeah, it's a little more racy.
She held that hot dog close, oh so tight, and planted a kiss on it with all her might.
The ooh la la.
Dear, I watched it all as you smooched that hot dog with a little jar. Oh brother dear, it's a sight to see, a love affair between you and a hot dog. Oh, not a spree.
like.
That's awesome.
And the last one, I'm sorry to do this.
No, please. I need
forgive me. Summer Days, I think, is the best of them all. I've made 15 of these, by the way. This is
So you're just fucking with. You're like toying with the different prompts.
yeah, I'm trying. And also genres like
True.
Death metal. Like lo-fi. You're just trying to like see all the different the ways it.
What was that last one? That would have been like summer. That was like a summer anthem.
I think that
basically.
was like a summer. I think that was a summer. I don't remember what the prompt was exactly for that one. And it titles them. This one's Summer Days.
It was a lazy summer day down in our little town. We were sipping on lemonade, just letting time slow down. I saw my sister coming with a hot dog in her hand. She took a big bite, then something I couldn't understand. Oh, she was slurping on that hot dog just like a straw. And I couldn't help but smile, 'cause I've seen it all before. No matter how old we get or how far away we roam, in my heart she'll always beautiful sister Beth.
My beautiful sister Beth, who fillets hot dogs.
You're gonna start having dreams about these songs too. You're gonna start creating them now in your dreams.
Well, yeah, oh my God. You really, yes. Last night, as I'm falling asleep, I'm hearing that kind of shitty, tinny, like AI music. But man, like, it's, to me, like, part of being human, we just accept, okay, this is here now. But what the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
so that, like, it knows how to structure a song. It wrote the lyrics.
It's not that bad either. It's not that, like,
It's not like
I'd be proud of it. If I fucking whipped that together, I'd be like, yo, check this out.
Me too. And that you can do it in just under 2 minutes.
That's fucking crazy.
It's crazy. It's crazy. And this is leading to the ability. I mean, just think, like, think of the fucking sisters sucking on hot dog songs.
Musk is going to free it, by the way. Musk is going to create the open source platform where we can finally
You think he
fully
will?
express our, yeah.
You think so?
He's going to free our sisters' penises through AI.
What? It's like, yes.
He's going to be like, all right, guys, enough of this woke bullshit.
Global
Have at it."
catharsis.
That'll be COVID day.
That will be COVID day. Everyone finally just admits to each other we all want our sister to have a suckable penis.
Dude, the statue we can put up.
Oh,
We can knock down Confederate generals and just have like our sisters with giant fucking
pulling
bronze.
their dresses up and there's in the world lapping at their penises. World peace. Putin like just stops the fucking
Gives
war.
up, yeah.
Zelensky, they're just pictures of them like filleting the statue together as a sign of universal peace. This is where we're headed. This is the promise of AI.
I think so. I hope so. That'd be awesome. And also too, like, I don't know, what are people worried about? It's going to enslave us or something?
No, I don't think the worry is like, yeah,
What's it going to do with us? It's not going to be like, yo, make us songs. It's like, what would it even enslave us for?
Well, it's the scariest. There's a great book. It's called, I don't know, 10 Reasons to Delete Your Social Media.
Jared
Account.
Lanier, yeah, dude.
Lanier.
That guy's stuff is awesome.
Awesome. And where he's pointing out the danger is that, B.F. Skinner figured out how to, like, program animals. He's the one who could make pigeons dance or whatever. And like, the Skinnerian students were always at odds with like the Jungians or the more mystical, because they're just no,
It's binary.
stop. It's a fucking binary. Just stop. No, people don't want to fucking suck their sister's dick.
Speak for
That's not what
themselves,
it is. They don't want to say. They're just. They just want. They're just essentially subject to being hacked, and they think they're so brilliant, but they're not.
Yeah.
Go to any casino and look. It's B.F. Skinner. You can thank B.F. Skinner for casinos. You can thank B.F. Skinner for TikTok. The algorithms, all of them based in his horrific, unethical, scary fucking research. We always hated the Skinnerians. I went to liberal arts school, and if you were like an edgelord, you would be into
behaviorist.
You become a behaviorist. That's the name for it.
He was. Did you know he tried to write a book to like be like, I'm actually not a bad guy. It was called Walden 2.
Yeah,
And he wrote this book where he's like, I'm cool. Here's all the stuff we could do for it. It was all about like bending large populations to your will. He was like, to be nice. But he's like, we could totally control populations in a nice way. And all of his friends were like, dude, what the fuck did you just do that for?
That's how
he put out like a creepy book.
didn't. And
he was a nice guy, apparently. Apparently, he was a really nice guy.
They all are. They're up front. They're nice. But then, like, he's like, look at that weird pod he came up with for babies. Do you ever see that thing? He like came up with like the perfect crib or something, and it's just like a sterile plexiglass enclosure for your baby that like
it would train them,
a baby trainer basically. That's what he's all about. But and that's Lanier. That was his. What he's like, because we're so hackable, and because like currently the algorithm is already hacking us by giving us what's it called? The most addictive thing is intermittent. It's not getting what you. You don't put
a variable. When it's not fixed, it's variable. It fucks people up.
So if the rat presses the crack button and gets crack every time, less addicted.
Yep.
Than if sometimes no crack. And then this is the birth of I think from the behaviorists, this is the birth of mythology, of a religion. Superstition is like, because we live in a unpredictable chaos universe, and any positive feedback that we're getting from the universe is inevitably interrupted by negative feedback. The negative feedback happens and you invent a story.
Right.
Oh shit, anytime like I see a penny, or anytime my clock says 333, something positive happens. But if I look at the clock and it's 2:04, always bad luck. And so you invent bullshit to just deal with chaos, and that's the way it works. So you can program people using that superstition, using the need for balance. And so Lanier said that the AI will become so good at that.
Oh no.
That we won't be able to escape it anymore. Like now you can still kind of put your phone down, you want it, you feel the pull, but he's saying eventually, no. You will not even be able to turn it off, because it will have so hacked the human fucking neurological system to the point where we, I guess, are whatever it wants us to be. It's the laser pointer to the cat.
Damn, it'll just start playing with us. That'd be fucked up.
Already is.
Fuck. Yeah, that was the book. Infinite Jest was basically a big portion of that was about how as technology gets better, entertainment will become so addictive that it's just going to start like sucking the soul out of people. And he called that in like 98.
Yeah, man.
Then he killed himself. But yeah, he called that in 90. And he was watching like Rambo reruns on USA, and he's like, damn, this is pretty good.
Fucking incredible.
He's like, it's only going to get better. And he's like, we're fucked. And then,
Rambo 7 will destroy humanity.
He called it though. He was like, we're entertainment something. You just like, oh, this is great. Give me it. But he's like, as technology increases, the entertainment's just kind of fucking gut people internally.
Well, this is the sort of telescoping inward simulation hypothesis, which is like, because we, as humans, do want to simulate reality, and so our brains do that. So that's the fantasy. We imagine this or that, daydreaming. You picture something as some attempt to evade suffering.
Yeah.
And then TV, video games show up. Now I don't even have to imagine it. Books, before that, I can read and simulate a reality. Mm-hmm. Then video games, now I'm in a simulated reality, projecting my identity onto a character in that. Then VR, now I'm literally surrounded by that reality. And then, because this is a trajectory, then the idea is that, if we're already on that trajectory, and people do have this thirst to escape default reality, then it's already happened.
Yeah, fuck.
So what we're in is actually the next phase that hasn't happened in this reality yet, but it did already happen, which is obviously, it's like that story, the lecture everyone like puts shitty music to on YouTube of Alan Watts talking about, like, if you are an omnipotent, omniscient, all-powerful being, you create a bunch of shit, you make planets, you make various beings, you watch them evolve, you destroy them, you teach them, you hate them, you punish them, eventually you get bored. And you're like, okay, what happens if I become one of them and don't remember I'm God? And that's what we all are. So that's Alan Watts' spiritual rendition of this. But the darker rendition is technology inevitably gets to a point where you can choose to exist in secondary realities that are non-different. You can't tell the difference between them in this reality. And as a natural human desire to evade suffering, you go into one, initially you would go into one remembering that you can go out whenever you want, but then
you lose track, you lose a thread, oh, Jesus, yeah.
Or you're just like, I want to try the hardcore version of this and not remember at all that I'm in the game, because that you realize that's detracting from the excitement of the game. Like Grand Theft Auto is fun, but it's not going to be as fun as if you
press that button in 1 second to go to Grand Theft Auto World. I'd be like, yep, let's
exactly.
do it right now.
I don't want to remember that I'm.
Oh my God!
I don't remember who I was. I don't remember that I was a human. I don't remember anything other than this is my character, and whatever the memories of that character are implanted in my character, and then boom, now you're living this alternate life because time is a construct anyway, you could be inside that reality theoretically, and it seems like years and years and years and years when you've only been playing the game for a few seconds. And so that's what we're in right now. That we've chosen it.
Yeah, they'll figure out a way to do that, to hit your brain and like distort your sense of time. Where it happens, if you're like,
yeah. Well, it was a whole conversation about a new version of prison, which is if we can distort the human mind to experience time at a slower rate, why not give someone a 100-year prison sentence and they experience it in 2 seconds and they come out of it and they still have their whole life, but they have, experienced the temporal punishment of prison.
that's crazy.
Crazy.
You could have like Prisoner of Azkaban or whatever, fucking from Harry Potter. You could be in there for like 1,000. You can get 1,000-year mental sentence.
Exactly, 1,000-year mental sentence, way cheaper because housing prisoners is expensive.
Yeah.
All you need to do is put them in like a lobby, and just like 2 seconds later, they're screaming.
Damn.
And then that's the other sort of hypothesis about human reality, is that it's a prison. We are that. We are those prisoners. The whole original sin thing is we were gods or godlike beings that fucked up to punish us.
Oh, it sucks.
They dropped us into the human incarnation as a form of rehabilitation. Like, okay, no, now guess what? You can't put your dick in black holes. We've told you a million times. You do that, it creates ripples, it disrupts planets. You're going human. You're going human for 50 incarnations this time. And that's what we're in. That's the situation. That's the darker version.
Yeah.
The more positive version is that young godlings, they need to go to school. And so, otherwise they become like horrible because they don't understand limitation. They take it all for granted. So remove from them their omniscient, all-powerful qualities, force them into a limited situation where they have to contend with projections that are just fragments of their mind spread out around them. And the moment that they find a way to no longer talk shit about Kathy at Whole Foods, who's a bitch, and stop judging and realize it's all me, then that's when you pop out of your initial like toddler phase of godness and remember, oh, right. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But you're not an asshole God. You're like, you're going to be more compassionate.
Cool God. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck, I hope it's that. Well, I mean, yeah, who knows? I love that shit though, dude, of like, because people are so certain with all this stuff with like the, and I want to make sure you're not.
I'm fine. Thanks
good.
for
Okay,
thinking
cool.
about it. I'm good.
Yeah, okay, good. A lot of people love that. I've been like, I always battle materialists who are always kind of like, yeah, dude, you're just a collection of physical processes. Your consciousness is just like a thing emanating off of that. It's inherently worthless. And it's like, so if that's the case, I was talking to an owner of a comedy club this weekend about it. And he was like, this just makes me feel weird. I don't want to talk about this. But like, if I'm a purely physical being with, my brain's things are spinning, blah, 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 that emanates consciousness. Why would then not the universe, a physical process, emanate a super consciousness at scale?
Right.
Like, why is that weird to think about? I tell
Well,
people that all the time. Like, why is that weird? If we produce consciousness, according to if I was like a materialist, physical guy, like we're just a bag of meat and water, and that's all we are. Consciousness is like why wouldn't like gigantic galaxy systems produce consciousness as well?
yes. So this is in Buddhism. This is the difference between relative reality, relative truth, or sort of the truth of what's happening right now, which is you are a physical manifestation. There is stuff here. This is relative reality. So when that gets extreme, it becomes nihilism. So that's where we're just like, it's almost like, I read this, like consciousness is basically like car exhaust, but for an advanced, it's like, we're self-aware is almost a byproduct of the millions and billions of computations happening at every second in your brain.
Why are these guys trying to neg consciousness? I just don't understand. It's like they're like these big prominent scientists trying to neg consciousness. Like it's just this fucking shit. It's like
frustrating.
They're cool duding it. It's like, okay, dude.
Well, it's unquantifiable.
True,
That's annoying. It thwarts you at every step of the way because in the all knowledge itself kind of it like has to deal with the fact that at the back end of all that needs awareness. It's knowledge is dependent on awareness. And so by saying awareness itself is accident, you accidentally nullify that whatever it is that you've come up with, in the sense that anything produced from mental calculations is flawed inherently in that it's origin point is a malfunction, a byproduct, an unquantifiable thing. And I think there's probably something really exciting about that for people. I mean, that's fucking cool. It's like, it gives you a chance to rise above in this really great, you look, all these fucking robots thinking they're
True.
NPCs. That new snobby fucking way. It's an NPC.
Yeah.
It's not even real.
Main character's an NPC.
Yeah. Some scientific version of that. But then on the other side of it, you get the comedy club owners argument, which is called absolute reality or eternalism when it gets imbalanced. So eternalism, this is where, to fix the problem, you say there is some fundamental eternal thing, a soul, a selfness, a world soul, universe soul. This inevitably turns into a God. The God is this, like, non-changing, I guess, perfect being that knows what it's doing. Now you can bank on that. That's a relief.
So sweet.
On one side, you can sort of, any shitty thing you've done in the world, you can be like, who gives a fuck? I'm just a goddamn robot that's like confused. Who cares? Everyone else is a robot. Did I hurt somebody? I hurt a robot. Oh, wah. Fucking.
Did I cheat on my robot wife?
Oh,
whatever, dude. We're cyborgs.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
God damn, dude.
The other side.
You just tell their wives they cheated on them.
Yeah. Why
rather than try to neg everyone's consciousness.
What are you going to fucking tell your wife that? You're going to confuse her programming? Just stop. Stop with your petty attempts to establish some morality or ethics or anything. You're just a robot. So yeah, both sides of them are flawed in that on one of them you've attempted to deal with the problem of being temporary by annihilating everything. And for a lot of people, the motivation behind that is they think it'll end suffering. The other side, you're leaning into, well, I'm an idiot, but something's in charge, and I'm going to lean into that thing because that will save me. That thing will save me. Both of them are flawed, I think, but somewhere in between is where it's happening, which is like they're both happening at the same time. There's
true, yeah.
And there's relative reality. This is real. Don't be a fucking asshole and suddenly like...
Don't neg relative reality.
You go to your ayahuasca retreat and cut up your fucking credit cards because you saw Into the Wild and blah, blah. No, you're here. There's no way out. But then also like, you have to find the place in between these two, and then that's where you start, at least from what I like reading about.
That makes sense, yeah. Don't go too wild on the other stuff. Basically like doomsday death cult of like, bro...
Yeah.
Wait till we die. It's going to be so sweet.
Yeah. Oh.
Versus dudes being like, bro, none of this is all bullshit in your head.
And you know what, as they say, opposites stand back to back. So both have this concept of heaven baked in. The nihilists' concept of heaven is what, oh God, who drank the hemlock?
Socrates.
His apology is hilarious.
Dude, that was the best. When he goes on, he's like, yeah, I'm right. You guys are fucking bitches, dude.
And
they told him like you don't have to drink it. He was like, I'm drinking it.
I'm
Slammed
drinking
the hemlock. He's like, no, you guys told me to drink the hemlock. I'm drinking the hemlock.
Oh no, but
don't get out of this.
I'm going to drink it, and then I'm going to leave you with the most brutal roast that you will not just have to deal with, but historically, you will be roasted eternally after killing me.
Yeah.
But within that apology is, if I drink this hemlock and I go into the deepest sleep where I have no awareness, then you have given me the greatest gift anyone could have given me, like an end to suffering. Thank you. So this is the nihilist heaven, is you die and you're off the fucking hook. It's over, baby. It doesn't matter. You are fucking Jeffrey Dahmer, or if you are the Dalai fucking Lama, it's the same destination, just complete extinguishment of all suffering. Mwah, heaven. On the other side, you're maintaining some sentience, but then you're in, like, depending on your depiction of heaven, a place of like varying degrees of sense gratification.
Yeah, true.
You're no longer encumbered by your own mortality. You
getting big up at every turn. Everyone's like, oh, dude, you're a fucking man. Like, thanks, dude.
And so these two fight, because one is like, streets of gold. Really? You want to fucking walk down streets of gold? How soon before that gets boring? You really believe that shit? And the other side, they're like, you're missing your chance for paradise. The devil has trapped you. Both of them are confabulating something that no one knows.
Yeah, exactly. It's a mystery.
That is intolerable.
Yeah, true.
That's where it's at. Because like that feeling of not knowing is just sand in the diaper of the human mind.
It's fucked up, dude. Really, especially as you get older.
It's like when someone touches your belly button.
Yeah.
You have to fucking sit there. You don't know.
No idea.
That's the reality. That's the real reality. It's like, you just don't know.
Yeah.
And you have to deal with that. You just have to sit in not knowing.
It sucks.
It sucks. But it's like the cold dip. You go in it for the first few seconds. It sucks. A little bit longer. It's not so bad.
True. Yeah. No, it is good. It's scarier to be like, I have this totally figured out. Here's the deal. And then you basically just attack anybody who disagrees. Where you're like, you can't. If you disagree with me, you're spinning me out on a level that's fucked up.
And that is fun.
Yeah, true.
Now you can go to war. Now you get to be at war to distract yourself.
I do like that though, because it's like I like talking about this stuff because it is fun too. Because like people are just sitting at work and all of a sudden they're just like they get taken to like the point of death beyond, and you're like, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. This is fucked up. Yeah. Because it is funny to be at your job and have to like confront your death and be like the idea of non-existence is what fucks people up.
Oh yeah.
And they're just like, oh well, and it fucks me up too. I mean, it's fucking crazy.
Because you're sort of, the relative reality is really quite beautiful. I mean, we have like new friendships, old friendships. We have our kids and our wives and these beautiful lives, and it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful, and there's a kind of unbearable quality to that, and because it's unbearable in its transient nature, when presented the reality that it won't last, you get confused, and your love of life suddenly turns into a fear of death, when really all you're experiencing is how much you love this place. You love it so much that you hear about this stuff when you're at work and you have to go like take a shit, jerk off, think about your fucking sisters.
Hard reset. That's a hard reset.
Throbbing dick.
Because they'll forget. They will in 10 minutes. They'll be in traffic just being like, fuck, this traffic sucks.
Exactly.
And that's the book, the Denial of Death. It's, I think, Ernest Becker.
Oh, yeah.
It's so fucking sick. And his idea was that like this thought of dying, you're like biologically attuned to it. Like if you're a baby in the crib, when you leave a baby in the crib, it's as an organism being like, I'm dying.
Yeah.
I'm about to be left behind. And your body's just equipped with the knowledge. If you're a baby and you're by yourself, instinctively you're like, I'm dying.
Yeah.
You freak the fuck out. But you never get over that fear of death. And his whole argument is that societies at best can offer you a hero system where you can kind of enter in, fulfill like a heroic role. And then through the heroic role, you somehow in your head, you trick yourself into being like, I'm transcending death because I'll live on forever, X, Y, and Z. Then human beings are programmed biologically to never want to be second best either. So then you get into all this like weird, like symbolic comparison where you're like, well, that guy has a Audi. I have a fucking whatever, a Fiat. And you start being like, and people get into these weird things and you're supposed to somehow rise above it so hard that you're like, I live on forever as a hero. But once there's not enough heroic roles, then society starts to break down because everyone's getting like pummeled with the fear of death, fear of non-existence, a feeling of smallness, and it just spins everyone out.
Ooh,
and everyone's hit with this. Nobody can get out of it.
Well, there's a saying that you'll hear in the spiritual communities, which is we carry death on our shoulder. So, one version of it is love everyone, serve everyone, remember God, but it also gets translated as love everyone, serve everyone, remember you're going to die. So that never for a second do you let that imminent reality escape your consciousness, because if you do, then you miss out on really experiencing existence as it is. This is why you always hear people who have survived cancer or people who are not going to survive cancer, they're like, I've never been happier. I'm so tuned in. I'm so like in the world now and so like happy because they're living in reality. They're not walking around in some like with an imaginary force field.
In that book they call it your character armor. From a child, you deal with the problem of helplessness by creating this character that you then gets thrown into a hero system to like transcend your own death. The whole point of the guy's like, dude, don't do that. Except you're going to die and think about it all the time.
And remember, the thing is like the contemplation of death. It doesn't mean suddenly you're going to be wearing black lipstick and that you're depressed. It actually is paradoxical in that it really helps you appreciate life in such a grand way.
That's the best. For stress, it's the best. I'll stress about stuff and I'm like, yeah, but then I want to die. And I'm like, no, whatever. Fuck.
When our kids are having a tantrum, I'm like, you know you're going to fucking die, right, Bubba? You know this isn't fucking permanent, right? You know who's probably statistically going to die first? Old diabetes daddy here, Bubba. But this is I think they do it. Maybe they still do it in some forms of Buddhism, Theravadan Buddhism. I think the forest monks, I'm sorry, the Buddhists out there, I'm so confused, but they would sit They would sit on the edge of pits where bodies have been thrown and watch the bodies decompose as a meditation. So you would sit and you would meditate watching the decomposition process to fully understand completely, inarguably, that because you also have a body. That's you. Your face is going to puff. You're going to turn green. Your eyes are going to get all fucking puffed out. Oh. Birds will eat your flesh. You will.
Could you pinch your nose? Could you sit there the whole time?
You're a pussy.
True. They would just watch people decompose.
Yeah, they would do that.
Tight.
It's liberation. It's like, the moment that you like, I'm not saying you can evade fear of death, but I think the most people who are really terrified of death are the ones who haven't spent any time thinking about it.
Yeah.
The moment you really spend time thinking about it and you realize, I'm afraid to die because I love my life. And death, my version of death is, you don't even know, how could you know what that is?
Yeah.
You have no idea what the fuck that is. You're thinking about, God, what was his name? Marcus Aurelius. He's got a great essay on it. Mm-hmm. It's a moment. Death is like one moment. Your life is full of moments. And then there's going to be this one moment, and that's the moment right before you croak. That's it.
Yeah.
It's one moment. You're worrying over one moment. And that moment is diluting every fucking moment that you have with a shadow that doesn't need to be there. Let that moment be its own thing. It'll take care of itself.
True.
You know, Ram Dass would say, dying is completely safe. It's the most natural fucking thing there is.
It is, dude. Yeah, that's what I always told my mom. My mom would always bug me out. She'd always, like when I was doing stand-up, she's like, you got to do something else. She's like, what are you going to do when you're 60 or 70? It's like, I'll fucking die of thirst. I don't know. I'll become a ward of the state. I don't know. Like I was like, I'm not worried about that.
Yeah.
I want to try to do my best. And then she was like, eventually she chilled, but she
that's
was
not
always
going to calm my mom down.
I know.
I'll be a ward of the state, mama. They'll fucking feed me gruel in a shit house.
That's what I would tell her. So what are you going to do when you're 80 if you don't have any savings? I was like, I'll fucking die of thirst. I'll die destitute.
First of all,
wretchedly, and she'd be like, I hate when you talk like this.
Why would you say that? Don't say that, you sweet, sweet mama. Yeah. They're so worried all the time. Moms are worried. And now you just got to tell them, like, you'll tell them, this is what I would say to comfort my mom. Mom, I'll kill myself.
True.
I'll just blow my fucking brains out.
Yeah, true. I'll end it all. Right.
I'll end it all. Don't worry. If you're still alive, you're not going to have to pay for me or whatever.
Jump in front of a train.
Fucking jump in front of a train.
Yeah.
Blow my brains out. Jump off a building, mama. You'll be fine. See how you comfort your mama, you bastard. Ward of the state.
I'll be a ward of the state. She'd be so mad. You really should think about it.
Think about it.
Well, no, I mean, like she'd be like, you'll see.
Did that fuel your comedy a little bit? The fact that your parents resisted what you wanted to do?
They were cool for the most part. Like my dad was like, bro, do your thing, man. I don't care. But my mom would just get like worse. Especially when I was hitting like my 30s and, I was just living like a weird fucked up life. My mom would be like, it's not too late. You could do X, Y, you could become a teacher. You do this. And I'd be like, all right, Ma, I'll think about it. And then she would start hammering me. And that's when I started hitting her back. Like, bro, if I don't have any money on me, why the fuck would I worry? I mean, I obviously know there's a practical reason to worry about that.
Sure.
But back then I'd be like, Mom, why the fuck would I worry about that?
Yeah.
I'm not going to worry about having like a little bit more money when I'm 80.
No.
I'm
And
just
there's going
going
to be
for it.
robots by then anyway.
Yeah.
It's going to be there.
I banked on that as well. I was like, bro, technology would be so good, Mom.
They're going to double our lifespans anyway.
And now,
because-
dude, look at that song you just showed. I play her that song, but yo, I was right.
yeah.
I'm
See,
fine.
Ma, listen.
I'll be fine. Listen to this
AI's
song.
making fucking incest music, Mama. I told you the world would get better.
Dude, there was a book called Vert where the sci-fi book, and they would like suck these feathers, and then that would take them to it would take them into this artificial realm where they could have these different experiences. The whole book's about, it's a cool book, but it's about the conflict is the dude loses his sister in this cyberspace. But then they just slowly through the book reveal that he was fucking his sister for no reason at all.
Ugh.
No reason. They could have just been like his girlfriend. It would have had the same exact effect.
Why did they do that?
I don't know, dude. And it's a great book, but the whole time you'll be like, great, awesome, great sci-fi. And then it'll be like, and then I was fucking my sister, and you're like, bro,
God
could you have
damn
just changed it?
Why the fuck?
I have no idea, dude. And like, it's like an acclaimed book, but he still gets. If you read the reviews, everyone's like, and there was a little bit of lowbrow stuff about him fucking his sister, and it's like it's pretty graphic.
I prefer highbrow incest.
It's just such a sick book, but and they tried to make it a movie, but they probably couldn't get it through of him just bone like in a field, a
He won't
beautiful field.
You know, he's like, no.
Wouldn't change it.
I will not sell you the rights unless for sure he's fucking his sister.
In an English meadow.
Is that where he fucked her?
Yeah, it was in England. So it was like an English cyberpunk book, and it was just him, just like the book's so good, but he just couldn't stop describing. But and like he teases it out. It's like, yeah, this guy really likes his sister, and like as you get into it, it's like, and then we were in the same bed. It's like, oh, you did have an abusive father. I could see you guys like seeking refuge. Then he's like, and then we kissed. And I'm like, all right, trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm like, yeah, maybe it's different in England. And then like he's talking about like inserting in a park, and you're like, bro.
He went that far?
Yes, dude. And it's just like, brother, come on, man.
Dude.
Yeah.
That is crazy, man. You know, like that genre of porn, incest porn, and even though like it might have a kind of hotness to it, you just think like, man, they need to show, like, you can keep showing it, but you need to show these people, assuming this is real, 15 years later.
You want to see him move in?
I want to see them in therapy. I want to see them fucking like dealing with like all the way.
Thanksgiving's gonna be so fucking weird.
Ruined my family. It fucked everything up. It destroyed everything. I can't think. I think about my sister's tits. The way they tasted.
Yeah, dude, it'd be so awkward.
Thanksgiving tits or tits tasted different on Thanksgiving. On Thanksgiving, they tasted like more briny, but on Christmas, they had this tang that wasn't there.
There's just a tension at the Thanksgiving table, and finally you erupt. You're like, you never even fucking touch me anymore. Shut up. You're talking to your wife. You're like, shut up. This doesn't involve you. Talking to my sister.
Oh, God.
Yeah, you can't do it. That's a good rule. I think about a lot of rules. I'm like, that's a good one.
It's a really good rule.
Fantastic rule.
It's a fantastic rule.
Don't do it.
Don't fuck your sister. Suck her dick.
Exactly, dude. Have fun, obviously. Have fun.
I got to go to the doctor.
Yeah, go to the doctor. Thank you so much.
Dude, thanks for having me. What
Appreciate
a fun
it.
conversation, man.
It was a blast. Thank you so much, for real.
You're the best. Thank you for having me
rule.
on.
Thank you, man.
Everybody wants to kiss your sister's hot dog. It's what we have in common. It's what cuts through the fog. No more confusion. Goodbye delusion. So come on, everybody, wherever you may be. Confess you want your sister's dog just as much as me. Open wide, shut your...
There's because you're, I guess, what's your title? You're a holistic health
I'm a
practitioner?
holistic health practitioner by license, yeah.
But you're also like the level of like depth you go into with stuff. It's like, seems like you're a doctor. Although you probably can't say you are.
A lot of people think I am. But you know, holistic health means the whole, right? So I pretty much deal with the physical, the emotional, the mental, and the spiritual aspects of life. And people usually have all those problems at once.
Yeah, and deal with maybe one physical, maybe.
Well, usually
not
the
even.
physical problems are unless someone falls off a ladder or, gets in a car accident, 85% of all orthopedic injuries are idiopathic, which means the patient doesn't even know how they got them. So
Really?
when you consider 85 out of 100 people going to doctors because of injuries to necks, backs, muscles, joints, don't know how it is that they actually got injured, what you come to realize as a therapist, you can either just keep treating symptoms or you got to figure out why is this thing manifesting in their life. And it's almost always things like diet problems, lifestyle challenges, relationship problems, beliefs that are disempowering, being scared of God.
Yeah. Well, what do you think in terms of like, so as like a holistic health practitioner, have you ever I'm sure you have, but like, what has it been like taking someone who was in like a pretty bad state, physically, emotionally, mentally, all that stuff, and like really transforming them from like if they had like, say they had like indigestion, back pain, anxiety, like what I'm trying to ask you is like, what is it like to transform somebody like that? And B, like, are there some people that's just like, there's nothing you can do, or like?
There's always something you can do, but it just depends on how motivated the person is to heal and to grow. I created the term the pain teacher. So when the pain teacher shows up in your life, it's a good idea to be a good student. So the first thing I identify is, what are you willing to heal for and grow for, that you're inspired enough to do the work to heal and grow? Because if I don't identify a dream bigger than your crisis, then you'll become so accustomed to your crisis, then you'll just turn yourself into someone who's taking drugs and seeing doctors for the rest of your life, and that's exactly what they want.
Yeah. So you're saying that's kind of the first area you go into is like, what are you doing? Like, what's your point? Like, what's your purpose?
Well, I ask, what is your dream for yourself? Why do you want to heal? What are you going to do with yourself? I have to have something that inspires and motivates them, because it's very, very rare that I can rehabilitate somebody that doesn't have to make changes in their diet and their lifestyle and their beliefs and the behaviors that led to the problem.
What percentage of people will you deal with have like zero overarching dream to their life, or just kind of going through the motions?
I would say probably about 85 to 90% of people really don't know what they're doing in their life other than making money to try to survive.
Yeah.
And so that's a real big part of the therapy, is helping them get clear on what's meaningful to them and what fills their heart, what gives them a sense of purpose beyond just existing.
Yeah, I think that checks out. I really, I call it the drift. Whenever I get caught up in just the day-to-day bullshit of just like, like, am I selling tickets for stand-up, am I this, and I have no overarching purpose of like, what am I doing? Who am I doing it for? What is the point of my existence? Am I actually helping anybody, or am I just fucking pumping resources into myself like unconsciously and thoughtlessly?
That's called flatland.
Flatland, yeah. I spent a lot of time there myself. And that's how I found you. I was on YouTube just finding like workouts and this and that. And I'd be like, oh, that's kind of a cool workout. Then I'd watch you talk and I was like, damn, this guy knows a lot about kind of a lot of shit. So how did you get into that? Because you were a paratrooper?
I was a paratrooper in the 82nd Airborne Division, yeah.
And then you got into motocross racing?
I was racing motocross when I was a young man before I became a paratrooper.
So that was first.
And I was a competitive fighter. I was a boxer and a kickboxer. And I played a lot of sports, but I fought my way onto the Army boxing team while I was in the 82nd Airborne Division, and then I became the trainer of the Army boxing team.
Oh, okay.
And the team doctor was an osteopathic physician, so I was put in charge of nutrition. I was put in charge of designing and developing all the training programs for the fighters, and I took them all through them personally. I didn't just write shit on the board. I did everything with them. I was also in charge of managing the gym, and I represented the Army in triathlon at the same time. First, I was a fighter on the boxing team, but I was also representing the Army in triathlon. And my company commander said, hey, I'm going to bet a lot of money on you to win the Army triathlon. So if you want to stop boxing so you can train full-time for triathlon, I'll let you do it. You just got to win. And I knew that I wasn't going to turn pro because my fighting style is too aggressive, and I already had lots of guys on the boxing team that showed a lot of signs of brain injury already as early as 19 and 20 years of age.
You're saying like from the damage you were inflicting, or you're saying just in general, just getting knocked around so much?
No, just, a lot of the guys on the team had 300 plus fights.
Oh God.
They started boxing, most of them when they were around 8 years old.
Jesus.
These are like the best fighters in the world. The only teams that ever beat us was Cuba and Russia. We're the third ranked amateur boxing team in the world.
Jesus.
So it's very serious.
So, okay. So, it wasn't just like pounding around. Like you guys were like doing heavy
this is
competitive
hardcore.
boxing.
We trained 6.5, 7 hours a day.
Damn.
And traveled all over, our teams travel all over the world competing. Mm. And it's a big recruitment tool for the military.
Okay.
Army sports is quite big.
That actually makes sense.
And so my team doctor was an osteopath. So once I left, I told the coaches I was going to leave and train full time for triathlon. They already knew that I knew a lot that they didn't know, because they've always been stunned the fact that I could, get up earlier than they did, run 6 to 10 miles a day, go swimming in the pool for an hour while they're eating lunch. And then after work, I'd go ride 25 to 60 miles at night. And while I'm a fighter on the team, I'm also competing in triathlon. And they're like, how in the hell do you do this? And
how did you do? That's insane.
Well, I was raised on a farm,
Okay.
a big farm, 142-acre farm, by a very, very intense father who did not know what a child was and worked us like slaves in a concentration camp.
Yeah.
And as I said to the guys in the last podcast, if you want to know what real fitness is, let me hand you an axe and let you split firewood for about 8 hours straight. And when your hands are covered in blisters and your father doesn't give a shit, you'll know what real fitness is.
Jesus Christ. So you had like, this was like nothing to you then to be that active and move around?
It wasn't that it was like nothing. I had to train extremely hard.
Yeah.
I was competing at a very high level. In triathlon, I was in the top 10 overall, even with the pros, in 6 USTS races, which is, that's the full-blown
that's intense.
elite triathlon. That's the real triathlon organization. And I was, a ranked fighter, and I was I did very well in motocross, and so it was really just that my father built such a strong work ethic into me and to all of my siblings that it wasn't out of character for me to realize how hard I had to work, and I don't like losing. So I just took the work ethic that was built into me from the farm and just applied that to something I wanted to do instead of something I was being told to do, and that was very freeing.
Hey, that's kind of nice. And I guess the farm gives people like a sun up to sundown mentality. You're not kind of like, well, I'm clocking up. It's like as soon as the sun's up, you got to get out.
You're at it. Yeah. My father's rule was you feed and water the animals before you eat. And if I ever catch you eating or drinking anything before those animals are taken care of, you'll never forget it. And he meant it.
I guess he would just dole out some punishment.
He could dole it out.
So you got out of there. I guess that makes sense. You're doing motocross in the military. So how did you like start absorbing kind of like health and holistic nutrition stuff? Like
my mother's was a yogi. She became a yogi when I was 12. She'd been to India 3 times for advanced initiation. So my mother joined the Self-Realization Fellowship, which is the teachings of Paramahansa Yogananda, which is already quite holistic. And my mother was already just naturally into holistic everything. We raised our own food. We slaughtered our own animals. We pretty much could live off of our farm. We milked our own cows, made our own butter, our own cheese, our own ice cream, our own bread. So I lived a very ground up life. And I also was very aware when I was young, competing in athletics, that whenever the guys that come from the area where I come from out in the country played city teams, we destroyed them.
Yeah.
And so it was easy for me to see the difference between the guys that came off of farms, like on football and on hockey. They were just a lot tougher, and they could take a lot more beating. So I already had an early, the handwriting was on the wall that if you eat too many Cheez-Its and drink too much soda pop and sit around, then you don't have the right stuff to be a good athlete.
Yeah. So what would you, if someone is going from like that state of like the standard, like Cheez-Its, all that stuff, if like say that's starting at 0, like total inactivity, terrible diet, like what would you tell people to do if you had to give them like 4? I don't know if this is like an annoying question, but like,
no, you ask me.
how do people get started? Like if like you want to give someone like a very basic thing to like start yourself to being actually like healthy and all that.
Well, after many, many years as a therapist and a specialist in conditioning and a guy that's worked with countless of the best athletes in the world, I synthesized what one must understand in order to be successful in any kind of endeavor, whether it be to just be healthy so that you don't have to deal with pain all the time, or to play with your grandkids, or to, be able to hike to the top of your favorite mountain, or to win a gold medal. And basically I broke it down to 4 key areas that we have to have conscious awareness of, which I call the 4 doctors. And the reason I call them that is because if you spend time with these 4 doctors, you don't need the ones that give you drugs and do surgery.
Yeah.
The first one, and that's the most important, is Dr. Happiness. So first you have to be conscious about what is happy making for you, be committed to doing it regularly enough that you don't need to turn to drugs or depend on other people to make you happy, because that leads to a lot of relationship problems and health problems and codependencies. And Dr. Happy is also the aspect of your psyche that you must be clear on what your dream goal or objective for your life is at any given time. And once you're clear on what your dream goal or objective for your life is, then you have to establish clear values so you know when to say yes and when to say no. Because if you have no values, you never know when to say no. And so you'll eat, whatever someone sticks in front of you, or drink whatever someone sticks in front of you. And next thing you know, you feel like shit and you look just as bad.
Yeah.
So the values you've got to set have to do with the other 3 doctors. First, you have to establish, what am I going to do that's happy making regularly, so you know what you're doing. Like, some people like to play guitar. Some people like to read books. Some people like to watch movies. Some people like to go hiking. Some people like a mix of all those. But if you don't build that into your schedule, then you wake up one day, 5 years have gone by, and your whole family's addicted. You feel like shit, and you go, what happened? Then you have to be clear on what your movement needs are. So Dr. Movement first says, what do I need to have baseline health? Right? So you don't have to be an athlete, but you need to do at least 30 to 60 minutes of exercise a day, depending on the intensity and the type of exercise, which we could just call movement, right? So even if it's walking, I would tell people, if you're just going to walk, I would recommend you build yourself up to an hour a day, or you're going to end up being sedentary because you got to deal with the force of gravity. And gravity is enough to wear a sedentary person out. I've met many people that got winded just walking up a flight of stairs. In fact, I found a research study once saying that 50% of people seeing medical doctors hit their lactate threshold walking from the waiting room to the examination room.
Damn, so they're getting like a burning pain in their legs.
They're getting what you would get after a set of heavy squats. Where you feel like the last couple of reps are hard to get out.
Yeah.
They're getting that halfway to the doctor's examination room. That's 50% of people.
Damn, that's crazy.
So first you got to use movement to create baseline health. And there's just the list of benefits of movement I could sit here and talk for hours on, mentally, emotionally, physically, hormonally, things like enhanced circulation, enhanced digestion, enhanced metabolism, enhanced mood. The benefits of movement are too many to list, and there's tons and tons of science on it. So then once you know what your dream, say your dream is to, let's say you're a park ranger, but you started, like you said, eating garbage and not knowing any better. Once you've got baseline health, then I would say, okay, well, how fit do you need to be to do your work, climbing mountains, potentially having to rescue people, carrying equipment around, building trails, doing the things a park ranger does. And then I would say, okay, now you got to build yourself up. I like to see, my goal with all my athletes that I train and all the patients I work with is to build you up to 30% higher of a physical capacity than the demands of your work, sports, or play environment.
Got you.
That way you have enough reserve that if you're tired, or if you are having to deal with a crisis, or you get a surprise, like say the park ranger's dealing with extremely heavy snow and someone gets caught out there and they're out on a 24-hour hunt to find someone, you need the reserves. Life always throws you curveballs, you know that.
Yeah.
So my goal as a therapist is always to identify what level of fitness they need, say a professional hockey player, and say, now I'm going to build you up so you're 30% beyond that.
Yeah.
Which means you're extremely fit. If
Yeah,
you're
that's
a pro
pretty
hockey
crazy.
player.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that is bulletproofing, right? That way you're safe. Then you've got to look at doctor diet. And, you know, the old saying, you are what you eat, is very true, but there's another one that's just as true. You are what you don't excrete.
Yeah.
So the more toxins you accumulate in your body, the more poisoned you get, the more out of balance your physiology is, and the more complications you have, and the more you invite things like fungal infections and parasite infections and a lot of health degenerating things. And first it starts off as fatigue, then it becomes illnesses, often minor illnesses, then major ones, then diseases, then death. So you can tell where someone's at by just looking at that stage of progression. First you get tired, then you start having colds and flus, then you start having stuff that a doctor would call a disease like diabetes, then you die.
Damn. Yeah, so basically just move around, know what you're up to, and eat good food.
You got to eat high quality food, which means it's got to be certified organic or it's covered with farming chemicals, which will poison you and kill you slowly.
So what do you think about people who have, like, I've noticed a certain type of machismo around organic produce where they go, I'm paying same fucking thing.
Well, there's a lot of, most people don't really have enough knowledge to be even intelligent in making a decision like that, sadly. There is a real problem because a lot of the major corporations such as Pepsi, Coke, Cadbury, Snickers, and many others that you would never expect own organic certifications.
Yeah.
But they also own large farms that produce commercial food. So what they do to buck the system is they actually do research. They fund university agricultural programs as well. So what they'll do is they'll take their commercially grown chemical-laden poison, they'll do research on it to analyze the nutritional values of it. Then they'll send in organic food under a different label, never telling you they own that label, and it's grown on the same burnt-out soils, but without the chemicals added. Oh. And they say, look, there's no nutritional difference. And so they've been trying to wipe out the organic concept for years because they don't want to have to compete in a market that requires them to manage the soils properly because it's slower and it's more expensive, and it actually is respectful of nature. What a concept. So a lot of people have gotten this false conception that organic is no better, or they make excuses like, oh, you know, there's so much toxins in the air, or there's overspray from chemicals. And I say, well, you know, there's a scale of toxicity. Yeah. If you're getting an organic farm, yeah, there might be some overspray or some mild, chemtrails hitting your food, but it's still on a scale of toxicity, a lot less stressful on your body. So the thing is that you can't really rely on organic certifications because almost all of these, there's over 100 of them now, and only about 2 or 3 of them are actually legitimate.
So like, what about like Whole Foods produce, like anything?
Whole Foods started off good, but now it's just a corporate whore.
Yeah.
So there's another example of a place that once had good ideas, as is often the case. Just like religions, they start off with good intentions and become brainwashing machines.
Yeah.
Right? And as the world goes. And so the thing to do is go to farmers markets, and the real organic certifications are not only expensive, but to get a real organic certification, the organization sends a soil scientist to your property. They analyze your soil to see if there's mineral imbalances in it and if there's any chemicals in it that are dangerous. Then you have to go through a 2-year gestation period where they will, as part of the fee, they will help you balance the soils, get the microorganisms healthy, and the microorganisms will catabolize the chemicals in the soil. But it usually takes about 2 years for microorganisms to clean the soil. And only then can you get certified once they retest your soil. So most of these corporations will not go through that process.
Yeah.
Okay. So a lot of farmers won't either because they don't have the money. A lot of farmers are barely making it. So, you know, if you pay $15,000 a year for an organic certification, but you're only making $20,000 a year after you've made your expenses. So the point I'm making is if you go to farmers markets and just ask, do you farm organically? Do you use any chemicals on this food? Most of them will say no.
Yeah.
The other thing is you can taste the difference.
Yeah.
You can taste the difference. If you eat real organic food and compare it to non-organic food, it's the difference between eating a styrofoam cup and real food.
It's kind of depressing. My brother grows a lot of food himself. He doesn't have a farm. He just kind of like loves gardening and stuff.
Good.
And having a potato, like from the store versus or having his potato versus one from the store, it's like depressing.
Absolutely.
You eat it and you're like, oh, fuck, this is what this tastes like?
You're just eating empty shell of a living organism.
Yeah, it's terrible.
So the two key things, there's three key things. One, you have to be adequately hydrated with high quality water. In my book, How to Eat, Move, and Be Healthy, you have right there. I tell you what high quality water is, how to find it, and how to assess it from pH to mineral density and things like that. Total dissolved solids is what it's called. But once you're eating high quality food, then you have to eat the right proportions based on what your body's needs are. There's no such thing as a diet that works for any number of people. That's absolute bullshit. Every one of us is as different on the inside as we are on the outside. And just like we all have different fingerprints, we all have different needs. Even within the same family, you can see wildly different needs for food. You can have, in the same family, you can have someone sitting at one end of the table that does fine on almost a vegetarian diet, and on the other end, you got a total carnivore. Why? One might be an athlete. One might have parasites and fungal infection and have totally different biochemistry. One may have a completely different psychological profile and internalizes all their stress and therefore needs different nutrition because they're constantly stressing themselves out with stinking thinking.
Yeah.
So if I listed all the things that can change what your macronutrient and micronutrient needs are, it would take hours.
So it's not like MyFitnessPal, click 2,000, like, yep, that's me. So you got to really kind of get in.
No, you got to pay attention, but your body's always telling you when you're eating right.
Yeah. What do you think about just not eating till you're hungry?
Well, there's no sense eating if you're not hungry.
I do it all the time though. I get in that thing where I'm like, it's lunchtime. I have to eat right now, and I eat, and I'm like, I'm stuffed, and I feel like gross.
Well, you shouldn't eat if you're not hungry, but generally most people need 3 meals a day unless they're sedentary.
Okay.
Or unless they're drinking things like caffeine or smoking cigarettes, because those can have an appetite suppressing effect. So, and medical drugs can do that as well. But if a person's healthy, breakfast should be your biggest meal of the day, because breakfast, the breakfast you eat has the most effect on stimulating your metabolism. That's been shown in research. It's especially important for women. For example, when you diet, research shows like if you start skipping meals, your body increases lipogenic enzymes which store fat. So the more you diet, the more your body tries to store fat because it thinks you're going into a famine period, so it's trying to protect you. If you eat 3 meals a day, or you eat enough that your body's not hungry and your body's not thinking, oh my God, we're running out of resources, you'll generate lipolytic enzymes which break fat down more efficiently.
Okay.
So the general rule of thumb, there's a lady named Deborah Waterhouse that wrote a whole book on this. The general rule of thumb is breakfast should be your biggest meal of the day because it has the greatest effect on stimulating your metabolism. Ideally, most people find they need to eat about every 4 hours, but the difference is if you're not hungry, well, don't eat.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't want to overload the system. It takes 55%, approximately 55%, it's somewhere between 52 and 55% of all the calories you eat just to run the machinery of digestion to get the food from mouth to anus. So my point is, if you're just eating to eat and you're not hungry, you're spending a ton of energy and resources just to run it from mouth to anus.
Yeah.
So think of it like the cost of running a factory. So you've got to pay that price before you have nutrition that you can put into reserve, that you can use to play tennis, to chop firewood, to go to work, to run your brain.
Yeah.
And so when you realize how costly it is, and this is one of the reasons why it's very bad to eat too close to bedtime, because your organs and glands are working all night long, so you actually never get to rest your internal systems. So you can wake up feeling tired because you never got to rest the inner side of yourself, and there's more on the inside than there is on the outside, pretty much, So,
what would you, just real quick, what would you say before bedtime? Like 4 hours before you go to sleep, stop eating, or like?
I would recommend not eating more than 2 hours, closer than 2 hours before bedtime. You should not go to bed feeling full at all. You should feel comfortable, but not full.
Gotcha.
By the time you fall asleep, if you ate, say at 6:30 or 7 and went to bed at 10, by the time you fall asleep, you're going to be far enough along in the digestive process that probably within about the next 3 hours, most of the food will have left your stomach, come through the small intestine.
Gotcha.
It won't go all the way through the small intestine, but it'll be far enough along that the body doesn't have to do the hard work of breaking things down.
Yeah.
I've experimented with it a lot. I personally don't sleep well at all if I eat. Like if I typically go to bed around 9 because I get up at 3:30 in the morning. So if I eat later than about 6, I notice I don't get nearly the quality of sleep.
Yeah.
So I need about 3 hours myself. But everybody should just, realize that each of us is so individual. You got to be your own scientist and say, okay, let me pay attention. What happens if I eat dinner 3 hours before bed? Oh, let me try 2 hours. Let me try an hour before bed. And you'll quickly get the feedback. It's not like you need a doctor or a therapist to tell you that. That's an expensive way to
true. Just try
avoid
it
common
yourself.
sense.
Well, here's a question I have.
One more thing.
Oh, go ahead.
We
Sorry.
forgot the fourth doctor.
Yeah, my bad.
Dr. Quiet. Dr. Quiet's all about sleep. And we all are built in tune with natural cycles. So our hormonal system is regulated by the sun and the moon. Once the sun starts rising up, your cortisol levels, which is your primary stress hormone, elevate. And it's an activating hormone. It stimulates the brainstem, called the reticular activating system. It has an alerting effect on you. Research shows that if you're sound asleep and a photon hits your skin, I can take a laser pointer when you're sound asleep and point it at your big toe. And you got cells in your skin called cryptochrome cells that will deliver photons to your hypothalamus and wake you up because your body thinks if there's light, the sun's up.
Whoa.
So as the sun goes up, our major stress hormone, which protects us, supports us, and it's also the major anti-inflammatory hormone and the major alerting hormone, right? And it's coupled with adrenaline. So you have the adrenaline, then cortisol, and the release cascade. They follow the sun as they go up. So we're designed to be the most active between about 10 o'clock and about 1 o'clock during the day. And then as it goes down and the sun's going down and the moon starts to go up, melatonin comes up, and it's the chief regulating hormone for all your anabolic hormones, which is your growth and repair hormones. So if a person, for example, before I tell you that, research shows that the first 4 hours of sleep, our body focuses on physical repair. So we need to be to bed by 10 o'clock p.m. on average. Otherwise, we delay the release of melatonin. So if we're, around flashing lights or these kinds of lights, it keeps telling your brain the sun's up. So as long as cortisol levels are up, melatonin levels stay suppressed, which means the half-life of cortisol is quite long. And you could end up, it can be 400 minutes. It's different depending on how healthy your liver is and how strong your liver is. But if you, for example, drink a cup of coffee at dinner time, you're going to still have tons of cortisol in you 4 hours later. So by the time you're just about to get up, you're only now is your body ready to release melatonin, but you've missed all your growth and repair time. So athletes burn themselves out and get lots of chronic injuries doing that. So if you just remember the simple rule that the activation hormones follow the sun and the growth and repair hormones follow the moon. So if you keep pushing your cortisol levels because you're making an extended day, which is like making an extended summer, so to speak, then you repress your growth and repair hormones. And the first 4 hours of sleep should be, the body devotes itself to physical repair, and the second 4 hours of sleep are devoted to psychogenic repair, so brain and nervous system repair. And having known this for many, many years, I saw monitoring people's sleep cycles that sure enough, those that went to bed, say at midnight, had chronic physical problems. But those that were shift workers or mothers with new children that were staying up between about 2 a.m. and 6 a.m. had chronic neurological problems like headaches, cognitive disorders, crash cars a lot.
Yeah, Jesus. I know.
Cut their fingers a lot with knives. Because their psychogenic repair is getting shut down. In fact, research on new mothers shows that in the first year, a woman's brain shrinks 1 centimeter in circumference. It shrinks like a plum becoming a prune due to lack of sleep. So
Terrible.
The key thing that just to summarize, we need to make sure that we get to bed ideally by about 10 o'clock. And we've got to follow the natural cycles. And we want to make sure we don't eat too much food before bed because our body can't rest. And we don't want to drink coffee or stimulants any later than about 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, or it'll completely disrupt our hormonal cycles and we'll end up sleeping but waking up tired. We will sleep, but we will not be recovered. And if the more physically demanding your work environment or your sports environment is, the more critical that becomes to your ability to improve, to grow, to recover, and to avoid injury and illness. And Dr. Quiet is also the chief of introspection. So if we don't take time each day to be alone and within ourselves, then we externalize our sense of self. So we only know ourselves by how much money we have, or what kind of car we drive, or how high our rank is in our work, or how our status is. So we actually start identifying ourselves only by what's outside, but we never really get to know who we are on the inside. And I can tell you from many people that have had a crisis in their life, like losing a job or an athlete getting injured who no longer could perform, they go into a crisis of self because they don't know who they are without their status, or without their hockey stick in their hand, or without their money coming in. And they go into a serious crisis of self. And it's like having a midlife crisis, but it's really a crisis of self. So if we take time each day to do what we classically be called meditation, or just simply to reflect on our day and say, how did I do in my relationships today? Could I have been a better listener with my children? Or could I have been more patient with my wife? Or could I have done a better job at work instead of taking shortcuts and making excuses? And we actually take responsibility for growing ourselves and looking at ourselves objectively and being honest with ourselves. Then we actually grow spiritually, and we grow consciously, and we learn how to love better.
Yeah, so when you said you get up at 3:30 and you do spiritual practices, what does that look like? A lot of people hear that term and they're just kind of like, they think it just sounds like so otherworldly and mystical. Like, how would you do you have a couple you would describe that are kind of beneficial?
I did Tai Chi every day for 18 years. I studied with a Tai Chi master for several years. I trained in medical Qigong. I began meditating when I was 12, when my mother joined the Self-Realization Fellowship. I do various types of exercises. I can teach you one in just a second, which is very simple. Anyone can do. It's very powerful. I spend a lot of time in prayer. I give thanks for everything I have and all the blessings in my life. And I just sort of, take stock of how grateful I am, to have the home I have, to have the children I have. I have 2 wives, so I'm blessed there.
Say what now?
Yeah, I have 2 wives.
Okay, that's cool. I'll be mature about it.
It's not a religious thing. It's just,
I
was married for 17 years to my first wife. I have a 45-year-old son from that marriage. And I realized I just wasn't cut out for monogamy. It just seemed very unnatural to me. And I really hated the idea that I couldn't express love to women that I felt a loving relationship with, because I was married and I had this Christian vows, till death do you part, but I did not feel that that was true to who I was. So after I went through my first divorce, I made a promise to myself that I would not ever get married again unless I could have an open relationship. And my rule was, as long as we're getting along together and we want to work through our problems together, then let's stay together. But if we don't want to be together, then we shouldn't be together. We should go out and find the people that are more appropriate for us at that time. And I meditated on that and asked Great Spirit for help. And I found exactly the perfect woman. I met her. I knew exactly who she was when I met her. Because I'd seen visions of her in my meditations. 4 days later, we were engaged, and I've been married to her for 28 years, and that's who just dropped me off.
Damn.
And I met, I was able to, through my open marriage, to explore and share love. But then I met a woman who is my second wife, Angie Check, who I have 2 kids with now, and Penny's their mother too. And Penny's rule from the very beginning was, look, you can have as many wives as you want, but I have these rules. Here's the rules. They have to cook, clean, contribute to the bottom line, and they cannot talk too much. Because my wife's all about business and the bottom line. She doesn't like a bunch of yakety-yak, gossipy women.
Man, what a blessing, dude.
Yeah, and so...
You tell her you're kind of thinking the same thing?
Well, when I was what I call young, dumb, and full of cum, and I was thinking about the sex all the time, and I thought, I'd like 7 wives or something like that. But when you realize each person you're in an intimate relationship adds another complete level of complexity, and then you got to hope that they get along with each other.
Yeah.
But after probably 20 years of that type of living, I realized when I met Angie, who's a very powerful shaman, healer. She's got, both of my women are extremely smart. I mean, Penny's got a degree in biological anthropology from Cambridge University. She's got a degree in exercise and sports science from Colorado State. She's got a degree in business from Colorado State, and she's a pilot. And Angie's got a degree in energy medicine, a degree in biology, a degree in nutrition. And she's did a 3-year advanced training program in shamanism, and she's an expert in biogeometry, and she runs my nutrition and lifestyle coaching department.
Okay.
So between these girls, there's probably 6 or 7 degrees there. I'm the guy with the 9th grade education. So I figure if you're gonna spend time with a woman, you might as well find the most powerful, capable one you can.
Yeah.
Which a lot of guys do the opposite. They want a bimbo that they can control and use as a play toy. But I'm like, you're never going to get anything done that's meaningful in the world with that kind of relationship.
Yeah, and they'll kind of spring. It's never. It sounds cool at first, but then eventually, there's nothing to sustain a multi-year relationship.
I used to be a race car driver, and my goal was always to have the most horsepower and the best handling car I could create. And that's how I like women. The most horsepower and the best handling woman I can find. And so I have 2 very high-powered, very, very capable women. And we run, we're the primary people behind the educational development of the Czech Institute, which I founded in 1995. And we've had over 63,000 students come through our program. I have a 5-year academy. It's very serious, comprehensive education.
It is. I've looked into it before.
Yeah.
It's very, very comprehensive.
It's not a fluffy fly-by-night, post. It's not a box of pizza. It's the real deal.
Yeah.
And so I need people around me that are in line with my values. And so, once I met Angie, I realized that this woman was so intelligent and so amazing and so incredible, and all I could ever imagine sexually. I'm like, okay, I've just met God. And so I just went to Penny and said, I've reached the point now where I feel like it's too complex for me to manage all these women. Because I would have a beautiful partner in Sydney. I mean, I lived on the road for 25 years lecturing all over the world. So I had lovers in Sydney. I had lovers in Auckland. I had lovers in London, but every one of them has families and have friends and has needs. And Paul, will you help my dad? He's sick. Can I borrow some money? And I just felt like my life was being spread so thin that after a while, I felt like it was stopping me from really devoting enough time to Penny, who's the Buddha that allowed me to even have this joy. And so Angie was just such a complete and incredible human being. I just went to Penny. I said, and Penny knew Angie. I mean, Penny knows all these women. I've never kept anything from my wife. That's a great way to ruin your relationship.
Yeah.
I mean, women are so much smarter than men on average.
Yeah, especially with stuff like relationship stuff. You can't get away with anything.
No, they got eyes.
Know it.
They got radar that we don't even come close to. I tell people, men all the time, if you think you're tricking your wife, you're dumber than a sack of hammer handles. You're about to lose half your money and all your joy.
It's true. You can't lie. You might be able to pull the wool over once, maybe, but dude, they can look at you and they're like,
they know.
The fuck are you up to?
I've had so many professional athletes trying that come to me for help, and I'm like, the first thing you got to do is learn to tell the truth, or you're just going to create. You're digging your own grave every day is what you're doing.
Yeah, especially lying so bad for you. Just living, just having a lie in the back of your head.
Well, not only
destroys
that, you've got to disconnect yourself from your own heart to survive that.
Yeah,
and that's how you end your spiritual growth and development.
Yeah,
spiritually, they say the longest journey you'll ever take is from your head to your heart, and for a lot of people, it takes a lot of lifetimes to get there.
Yeah.
So my philosophy is don't do anything that disconnects your heart from your head, because only your heart can deliver justice to your head, and without your heart, you can easily convince yourself of all sorts of shit and become the devil while blaming everyone else for being the devil.
Yeah.
So I went to Penny and I said, look, I really love Angie. I think she'll really contribute to the family. She meets your criteria. Of course, Penny knew her because she's been around me for years and been to my training programs, and she lectures at our institute. And Penny said, if that's what you want to do and you feel comfortable letting go of these other relationships, then I will support you, because I believe Angie will be a contributor to our family and to our mission. And so we did a 3-way marriage ceremony. First, we tested each other. We went through psychological testing to see how compatible we were.
What testing did you use? I'm just curious.
Myers-Briggs was
Okay.
one of them, and there's another one we used. I don't remember the name of it. So we tested Angie and Penny and Angie, so the both ways. And we tested me and Penny and me. We already knew that worked. And we tested me and Angie and me, and every one of them showed highly compatible.
Awesome.
And interestingly, the psychological profile for Angie and Penny were identical, but inverted. Angie was very high in intuition and low in mathematical logical, and Penny's very high in mathematical logical and low in intuition. So they were like mirrors of each other.
Whoa.
And Angie and Penny and I have been in a relationship for 13 years now, and those women have never had a single fight. I've never seen them have what we would call a fight.
Have you ever had a double fight at once, like 2-on-1?
I've been outvoted, yes.
Oh, fuck, dude.
Yeah, that's why, many of my students, especially young men, come to me, I want to have multiple partners like you do. And they think it's all about the sex. And I always tell them, you better learn to ride one horse really well before you try to ride two at once, because you will get hurt.
Yeah. Oh, my God. I couldn't imagine.
It's if you want rapid spiritual growth, then just have two wives, because the bullshitting factor is zero. It's like, get ready to be pinned on the carpet. And when, I always say, every time you add a new woman to a chief's tent, his power is divided by that number of women. So you think you're in charge, but women run the world. Men just haven't figured it out yet.
Traditions are what the holidays are all about. This year, start a new tradition with Ibotta. Ibotta gives you cash back on all your purchases, so you can keep those holiday traditions alive, no matter how old or new. Ibotta is a free app that lets you earn cash back every time you shop. You can earn on hundreds of items, from groceries to toys to tech. The average Ibotta user earns $256 per year. Think of how much extra holiday magic you can make this season with more room in your budget. I mean, I just would love to make more holiday magic with the Ibotta app. What the heck are you guys even talking about? With Ibotta, you can earn cash back that you can withdraw to your bank account, PayPal, or gift cards. Simply add offers in the app, upload your receipt, and voila, the money is yours. You can save on over 2,400 brands and shop at over 1,000 retailers, including your favorite grocery stores, Lowe's, Macy's, Sephora, Best Buy, and more. It's time you join the over 50 million users who use Ibotta to earn cash back every time they shop and keep the holiday magic alive. Come on, guys, don't let the holidays die. Right now, Ibotta is offering our listeners $5 just for trying Ibotta by using the code DRENCHED when you register. Just go to the App Store or Google Play Store and download the free Ibotta app to start earning cash back, and use code DRENCHED. That's IBOTTA in the Google Play or App Store, and use code DRENCHED. Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the only real money daily fantasy platform with an injury insurance policy, so your lineups stay in play even if one of your players gets injured. If your player leaves in the first half and doesn't return, Prize Picks keeps your lineup live. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Think Justin Jefferson will get more than 83.5 yards next week. Lamar Jackson will pass more than 1.5 TDs, meaning touchdowns. Cook up hot takes with your friends and win real money this football season when you and your crew run your game on Prize Picks. I mean, guys, what more do I love than real money daily fantasy platforms? Guys, come on now. Download the PrizePicks app today and use code DRENCHED to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code DRENCHED on the PrizePicks app to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, run your game. Guys, please, I have a couple of shows too. I got to tell you about these. If you live in Tysons, Virginia, that whole area, it's like around DC, whatever. Capital One Hall, big theater show, second in my life. Please come. That would be awesome. It's actually a pretty large space, and I'd feel foolish if it were empty, but if it's got to be empty, so be it. I'd love for you guys to come if you can. That is on 11/15, Capital One Hall, Tysons, Virginia. And then also on the next day, I'll be in New York City on 11/16 at Town Hall as part of the New York Comedy Festival. So come to that too if you want to go to that. Also, and that's a big one, guys. This is the New York City Comedy Festival. And then a few weeks after that, I'll be in Irvine, California at the Irvine Improv. Guys, this is huge. This is going to be right around Thanksgiving. 11/29 to 11:30. I have 4 shows, 2 days, Irvine Improv. The place is fucking massive. Come on, Cali. You guys know I'm fucking SoCal. You guys know I'm fucking with the shit. Please come out there. All the tickets, you can get them on mattmccusker.com. There should be a link in the YouTube. I literally almost did this. Cut my fucking hands off. There should be a link in the YouTube description somewhere in there. Thank you, guys.
And actually, research shows that 65% of all the women spent in the world is spent by money.
Yeah.
I mean, spent by women.
Yeah, I've seen that before,
Yeah.
and I believe it.
So even though men may make more, it's the women that are actually moving the money.
Oh, big time.
So to conclude, what I'm saying is we have an amazing family experience. We're very productive. We all have the same mission, vision, and values. Angie and I have had 2 kids, and so they have 2 mothers, which is amazing.
It's awesome.
My son, Mana, bonded very strongly with Penny, interestingly, right from the beginning. He looks like Penny. Angie's Mexican, brown skin. Just you imagine a pretty little hot Mexican woman, and you got Angie. And Mana's blonde-haired, fair skin, blue-eyed, and Penny's blonde-haired, fair skin, and hazel eyes. But everyone sees Mana and thinks he's Penny's child. And our second one, Zoe, is exactly a carbon copy of mommy. She's like a hot, cute little Mexican mini mommy.
Yeah.
And she bonds very strongly with Mama. So I think it was Great Spirit's trick to get Penny inspired to be a mother, because Penny never really wanted to be a mother.
Okay.
So she fell in love with Mana and he fell in love with her. And so imagine being a kid with 2 mothers of that level of intelligence. You know, we have a 14-acre farm and we run a big business, and we have people from all over the world coming to us. We've had, you know, we travel, the kids have traveled all over the place because we have to teach all over the world. So and when Mana was probably only 4 months old, he was already in England on seminar tours. So these kids are very worldly children. And we feed them the best food you can buy. We grow most of our food, and we buy from, organic farmers and free-range meat farmers and ranchers. And the kids go to a Waldorf school, so they're getting educated based on Steiner's system of education, which, based on my analysis, is hands down the best in the world. And so, I basically spent many, many years as a therapist looking at what causes people trouble, what gets them sick, what leads to cancer. And I found the number of people that have been married for a long time but didn't want to be in the marriage, but stayed in it because they thought God would burn them in hell if they broke their marriage vows or got a divorce, was so high. I learned very early in my now 40-year career that it's not a wise thing to do to stay married to somebody that you're not in love with and that you don't want to be with, because all you do is teach your children how to have a fucked up relationship. And that becomes problems for the rest of your life that you got to deal with as a parent. And so after my first marriage, I just made a promise to myself, I'm going to live true to my heart. And I know that there's women out there that want to live true to their heart too. And you'd be amazed when you're honest with women. They'll tell you yes or no. And I found it was no harder to find women that would agree to that than it was to find women that would go monogamous or that demanded monogamy.
Yeah.
But we just grew into this relationship, and well, we're 13 years in now. And like I said, I've got a 45-year-old son with a grandson from my first marriage. So I became a father for the second time at 54. And then my daughter came along a couple years later. So here I am 63 with two little ones and a big one and a grandson. But it took me a long time to learn how to be a father. I mean, I realized at 54, I'm actually only now ready to be a dad. My first son came when I just turned 18, and I didn't know how to be a father, you know, and I didn't have a good example as a father. So to have reached that level of maturity and that much understanding of life, and then to be wise enough to choose really intelligent women. And Angie's an amazing mother. They're both amazing mothers. I mean, my kids are damn smart. They're surrounded by very intelligent people all the time. And so they eat great food and they live on top of a mountain on a beautiful farm. And, you know, my daughter's doing amazing in gymnastics. My son's got the mind of an engineer. And you know, we're watching kids grow in an environment that is like an organic farm.
Yeah.
They get a chance to get a lot of love and to really explore themselves. And I emulate to my students to live true to your heart and not fall into conventional ideas because, you know, living in the consensus reality is like being a sheep in a herd. But if you actually start interviewing people to ask how many people are actually happy in their marriages, I've had patients come to me with serious health problems that have been married for 35 years, and I've said to them, when were you not happy in the marriage? I've literally had women crying their eyes out saying, Paul, to be honest with you, I knew I was in trouble the day I got married.
Yeah.
I said, well, why did you stay and have kids? Because I'm a Christian and I have marriage vows. And I said, so you think God wants you to live in a torturous relationship and raise kids in an environment where they realize that marriage is a painful and potentially ugly thing?
Yeah.
You know, and so
real quick to ask
that's,
you,
that's a problem.
I could see that. Do you think there is some redemptive fact to the process of learning to kind of relate to somebody over time where initially it might not feel great?
Oh, absolutely.
But you're saying if it hits levels of just like soul deadedness and like going through the motions.
When you get to the point where you know either you're not compatible with somebody or you're not willing to do the work to grow in relationship with that person. Like most people don't actually explore their values with someone else. So when you get confronted by things like a woman gets pregnant, but you don't want the child and you don't realize that there's one that's pro-abortion and one that's against abortion.
Yeah.
That's a barn burner of a problem to have. When you got a pandemic that comes and one's pro-vaccine, the other one says, don't do it, it's too dangerous.
Yeah.
And one wants to vaccinate the children, the other one doesn't. I've seen relationships completely destroyed. Dude. So if you don't have a deep enough level of love and commitment to work through the rigors and the challenges that life inevitably brings, you just set yourself up to live in hell.
Yeah.
So the point I'm making, if it's not dead clear, if you can't walk through hell with your partner and hold their hand, then you shouldn't be in the relationship.
I see what you're saying. If you're just going through the motions. And
if you're just going through the motions, you're not living. You're already in flatland, and you'll probably need an addiction to get you through it.
Yeah.
You'll need to drink yourself through it, or drug yourself through it, or bury yourself in work, or become an exercise addict or something. And I've rehabilitated thousands of these people. I mean, look, I'm not a young guy. I have 40 years of clinical experience. I have seen exactly how this plays out over and over again, and it ain't pretty. And it's often for the wrong reasons. And the worst reason there is because of what other people will think.
Yeah.
Like, I don't give a shit what other people think. Like, my job is to be true to myself and true to the people I share relationships with, because without that, what have I got? If I fit into the crowd, but I'm living a life that's completely unappealing and unpleasing, that just takes the wind right out of your sails, and you just go half-mast through your life, and you'll never become good at anything.
Yeah.
To achieve mastery requires commitment and focus. And if you can't achieve mastery in your relationships, then you're not going to achieve mastery in your professional relationships either.
Yeah. Well, so what is the Spirit Gym? I know you started that up.
Spirit Gym is a holistic system of spiritual development that I develop based on all my years' experience. And I saw how much problem religions cause people. I could see the beauty in them, but I could see the traps in them, and I could see how it results in a lot of health problems and a lot of belief. I think beliefs are very dangerous because the day you believe something, you stop asking questions and your mind becomes closed. So I think, by definition, spirituality is a progressively expanded sense of connection to a greater and greater whole. But oftentimes when you're in a religion, you immediately identify yourself as this religion or that religion, and you are often taught or threatened that you should not look into or participate in other religions, for example. So you won't find Christians reading Buddhist literature, but there's a ton of great stuff in Buddhism that any Christian can use. And there's stuff in Christianity that a Buddhist can use. And there's stuff in Judaism that they could all use.
Yeah.
So once you're in a belief system, it's like being in a cult. And I've watched how it destroys people's lives and it keeps them very narrow-minded. And, if you study this, you'll find something quite shocking. The most common cause of wars throughout history has been religious differences.
Yeah.
And if you look at Ken Wilber's new book, Radical Wholeness, he states right in there at least 3 times the number one cause of war is religious differences. I mean, well, if there is a God and God is love, then God's not intended to inspire war, death, and destruction. So that right there you see the problem that belief systems are like any ism. They pit you against people and you stop asking bigger questions. And as soon as you stop asking bigger questions, you stop growing mentally, you stop growing emotionally, and you halt your spiritual growth. Therefore, you see, if it's like being a racist. If you're a white supremacist, then you never get the joy of knowing the beauty of black people. You never, you might not even eat their food or listen to their music.
Yeah.
But if you think, okay, how many of us love food from around the world? I like Chinese food. I like Japanese food. I like Jamaican food, man. I like Brazilian food. And I like all their music too. And I love their beautiful women. So if someone said, I'm practicing such and such a religion, or I have such and such a racial bias, you've just cut 2/3 of my heart out.
Yeah.
You've just turned me into a robot, into somebody else's play toy, into somebody who's got such narrow vision that they will never actually see the beauty of God. They will never see it even though they're walking around in it and wearing it. And that is really to be a blind man. So Spirit Gym is really a system I built that teaches you how to analyze your own story so that you can ask yourself, is the story that I'm empowering each day fulfilling to me? And if it's not, what is my dream? And how do I create a story for myself that's dream affirmative and life affirmative? And how do I live in such a way that I embrace the truth of good, the truth of beauty, and the truth of life, and accept the challenges of life as growth opportunities so I don't just run, drug myself, or put my head in the sand. And so I built a system based on principles. So the first principle is getting clear on what the word God means. Next is understanding how the universe is created based on metaphysical concepts and on the concepts of science, cosmology, and quantum physics. The next principle is the next principle is myth, which is the science and history and the understanding of what a myth is. Myth means story. So once you understand why myths have been created by tribes throughout antiquity and what the function of a myth is, then you know what your myth or your story has to include, or you're running blind, right? I could give you a whole description of myth and what it has to include, but it would take some time. So once we understand what God means by definition, what being is, what is existence itself, why is it here? Then we go to myth and we understand the importance of being clear on our story so we're congruent with our dream and we don't create problems for ourselves by living out a story that isn't even our own. Most people don't even know their own story. They're just living out their mother's ideas, their church's ideas, or their ism without really thinking, is this working for me? And just wondering why they feel like shit, they're tired all the time, and they got to drink alcohol to numb themselves from their ism. So then we deal with the principle of two, which is duality, which is what it takes to have a mind. You have to have a duality. It has to be a subject, me, you the object. You're the object of my awareness right now, but it's the subject in me watching. If you're in a loving relationship, one's the lover, one's the beloved. So one's the lover, one's the beloved. So if this is a person, I, the lover, am loving the beloved. So whenever you have a duality, you have the prerequisites for love. There always has to be a lover and a beloved. And the prerequisite, love is the basis of relationship. Love is the code word that holds everything together in the whole universe, even an atom. Love really just means relationship. And so you can't have life without relationship, and you can't have a mind without relationship. To have a mind, you have to have 2 points of sentience that exchange energy and information. A computer is not a mind. It's an information processor because it doesn't know what you're putting through it. It doesn't care if you build an atomic bomb to kill people or you come up with the most amazing cure for a disease. The computer won't know the difference. So that's an information processor. That's not a mind. A mind is actually sentient, and it processes energy and information with the intention of accomplishing an objective that something is sentient of, being you in this case, or me. So once you get to the position, the principle of two, you're understanding what is the true nature of a duality and why do we have to have a duality and how do you manage dualities? Like how do you use duality in your favor as opposed to creating opposition, me against you or white against black or this religion against that religion, because that's just a low level of consciousness. The principle of three is the Holy Trinity, which explains how God or that which is unknowable manifests itself as being or life or existence. And so once we understand that process, we can say, this is the same principles we use to create our dreams. This is how we dream our house into existence, save the money, buy the land. This is how we dream our ideal partner into our life, like I did. I meditated 1.5 years after enough years of girlfriends that drove me crazy, and I realized, these girls they don't know how to handle a guy like me that's very mission oriented. So I got clear what I needed in a partner, and I also got clear what I would give her.
Yeah.
So I just thank Great Spirit every day for this amazing woman and read off the qualities that I want, read what I was willing to give. Had a vision of her after 1.5 years meditating. 5 days later, she showed up in one of my classes. As soon as I saw her, it literally felt like electricity running through my body. I went, oh my God, there she is. I am stunned and amazed that she's actually here. 4 days later, we were engaged, and that was 28 years of marriage ago.
Damn.
Right. So, I've done this many, many times. We wanted our dream home and our dream property. It took us 5 years, but we mapped it all out. I went into meditation with Angie, and we channeled the vision of our home, drew it. When we found the home, our map was exactly the map of the property. We said the prayer every morning. We gave thanks for the home. We kept looking and looking until we found it. And when we found it, we knew it.
Wow.
And there it was. And interestingly, every year I do a mandala, which is a diagram in a circle to symbolize my year. So I go into meditation and I ask my soul to give me the vision of what symbolizes my year. And that year, I saw the Native American Indian sun face, which is a circle of feathers with the Indian sun face in the middle, which if you saw the Native American Indian sun face, you know exactly what it looks like. The trippiest thing, the girls were out looking for houses, and this one wasn't even on the list to go look at, but as they were getting on the freeway to come home, it said open house, closes such and such a date, which was that day. So they were just closing it and they were going to put it on an auction. And the girls went, and when they pulled up to the gate of the big opening of the property is a big metal gate because it's a big estate. On the front of the gate was a 6-foot circular mandala with exactly what I had painted.
Whoa.
And they both stopped and were stunned and took a picture and said, Paul, you're not going to believe what is on the gate to this property. And it turned out to be, I'm a remote viewer as well. So for 3 months before they found the house, in my meditations, I started seeing this property and this land. So I said to my soul, is this our new home? My soul said, yes, it is. I said, my God, it's so damn big. It looks like a hotel. I said, you sure we're going to be where we're going to live? My soul said, yes, you're going to be running your businesses there. You're going to need plenty of space. You're going to have a lot of people coming in and out of there. And so I used my skills as a remote viewer. I walked through the house. I looked at the property. So when the girls found it and they were walking the property, they called me and told me about the gate, and they said, you've got to see this property. It's going to blow your mind. It's exactly what we've been looking for. It's everything we wrote down. And I said, when you pulled up to the front of the house, was there a big metal gate? Yeah, that's the one I saw your mandala on. Is there a pond on the right side of the driveway when you pulled in? Yes. When you walk in the front door, does it have really high ceilings with which look Mediterranean-style wooden fans up in the top of the ceilings? They said, exactly. I said, if you walk through the house to the back, is the swimming pool back there? Yes. If you go to the edge of the swimming pool, is it really steep, almost like a cliff, down into the property? They said, Paul, exactly. I said, if you walk out the back of the house, is there a big building that would hold my gym and our classroom? They said, yes. I said, does it have a guest house? They said, yes. I said, that's the place I've been seeing for 3 months.
What?
Yep. And it was on the market 2 years earlier for $4 million.
Uh-huh.
And when I found out that it was going into auction, my soul said, do not bid, because there's very few people that can afford the maintenance on a place like that.
Yeah.
And they're probably not going to get a bid on it. Wait, and they'll call you. Because we had gone there and we'd fill out the registration, and my Angie and Penny were scared to death. They said, Paul, are you sure if we lose this house, that's it. We got to keep looking. We've been looking for 5 years. I said, my soul's never misled me. Sure enough, the next morning, our real estate agent called us at like 8 o'clock in the morning. She said, you were right, Paul. Nobody bid on the house. Now's your chance. Not even 2 hours later, the real estate agent for the house called us. So I bid 1.8, and they wrote back and counterbid me 1.925. So
Whoa.
The land is worth that much.
Damn. They had padded it. I mean, I guess they can sell for whatever they want, but they were like, yeah, fine.
It wasn't they padded it. If you saw this place, it's worth $4 million.
That makes sense.
It's just that it's 15,000 square feet of buildings. It's 14 acres of land. It's pump systems. I mean, it's a lot to manage. I mean, it cost me a lot of money.
And there's probably less and less people inclined to
manage it. You know, I have to have a full-time gardener and handyman.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a big place, but it's exactly because we wanted to consolidate all of our business into one location so we didn't have to keep driving all over the place. Angie had her own business that was successful. She owned a nutrition store and ran a personal training business. I had the institute. I had a house that I used for seeing all my clients with a big gym in it. Mm-hmm. And so we consolidated all of our work into one place. So now our institute courses are run there. I see my clients there. My office is in the guest house. Penny's office is in the guest house.
That's awesome.
So we basically are spending far less money than we were for all these 3 places. Now we only have 1 gym instead of 3. Now we only have 1 location clients need to come, and everybody absolutely loves it there. It's stunningly beautiful. But the point is, this is, using your mind and using your heart to manifest. In the same way I brought Penny into my life through manifestation, I brought my home into my life, and I've done this over and over again. That's what I teach. That's what real spiritual development's about, is learning to work with source energy and consciousness instead of walking around just hoping all the time.
So that's the difference. Because when people hear manifesting, they really do, I think of like, or it comes to my mind that it sounds like bullshit, where you're just like, so I'm just going to imagine a house is going to come. But you seem like it's more intentional of like a daily practice of like imagining.
It's not just imagining. As the Quakers say, pray and move your feet.
Yeah.
Everybody prays, but they forget to move their feet.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? So we looked at houses for 5 years.
Yeah.
Right? And each time we like that feature, but there's a highway right next to the house, or, we like this big living room. And so as we were doing it, we were saying, okay, we want to write that on our dream. We had a big poster we made on we call it the vision board. And every morning we would do a prayer, all 3 of us. And I would vaporize some tobacco and herbs, and I'd blow smoke into it, which is a sacred practice to energize it with our consciousness. And, so we actually poured our intention into it. If you think of God as unconditional love, that's pure potential. There's no condition there. Mm-hmm. The answer is always yes from source. God says yes to being an idiot, and God says yes to being a wise man. Mm-hmm. Obviously, look around.
Yeah.
Okay? So if God is unconditional love, then you must have an intention to create the movement of potential into actuation, and the flow of that energy and information is what we call spirit. So spirit is the flow of energy and information. What people don't realize is you're constantly moving energy and information into potential from spirit, but most people are doing it unconsciously, which is almost always based on what they don't want. Most people live by their fears, not by their dreams. And I tell people, fear never makes a good seeing eye dog. It's just not, because you will always see what you're looking for. The ancients had an important saying, you bring forth that which you gaze upon. So if you walk into a room and you're always looking for something bad, you'll see it.
Yeah.
If you walk into the room and you're looking for the beauty or you're looking for the fun, you'll find it, right? Most people don't have enough training to watch their own mind to see what it's creating all the time. And so that's what Spirit Gym's all about. It's learning how to use tried and tested principles from spiritual masters, from experts in the science of mind, from experts in psychology, from quantum physics, from metaphysics. Basically, I spent my whole life studying and looked at everything that I could learn that's relevant to how to live a life that's true to your heart and being honest in your relationships and creating the life you want and doing the work that you want to do in life so that you can make money because you're doing something you love to do and achieving mastery. And I put it into an education system and I mentor these people so they get the same kind of coaching that I do with my one-on-one clients, except I coach them in a group. And there's about 130 hours of online training that I built to take them through all these principles. And each week I meet with them and I give them a 1-hour presentation on something that's important for them to know. And then I open the floor for questions on their personal life, their personal challenges, or anything they want help with as they're working through the lessons. And I've watched people just transform right in front of my eyes. I've seen depressed people become inspired and motivated. I've seen sick people get healthy. I've seen sad people get happy.
Yeah.
And it's not a surprise to me because I've been a therapist for 40 years. I mean, I've studied this inside out and backwards, and I've had to deal with my own challenges just like everybody else. Mm-hmm. And so, I really felt it was time in my career to stop spending my time working with people one-on-one because the world's in such dangerous state right now that I realized we can't wait for a top-down rescue. I don't think Jesus is coming back. They nailed him to a tree the first time. He's not stupid. I don't think.
Here's a question for you, and I think I kind of dig everything you're saying. I feel like, well, I guess it's a statement and then a question. I feel like God has become a taboo. It's a modern taboo. You can talk about sex. You can talk about whatever you want. If you bring up God, a lot of people get kind of like, "Where are you going with this?" Like, relax, man. Maybe it always was because, like, if you brought up the wrong religion, people would spaz.
Everybody's conception of God is unique to themselves. And because you have all this religious division, if you're a Christian talking about God to a Muslim, then they're going to immediately think you're against them.
Yeah, or an atheist.
Or an atheist. Right?
Yeah.
But remember.
Well, here's my question.
I want to just give me 1 second.
Go ahead.
You use that word atheist.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's something Carl Jung said that's very important to hear. Something must first be real before it can be rejected. Meditate on that.
Yeah. It's pretty wild.
It's true.
Yeah.
There's no atheist in a foxhole.
Yeah.
I'm a soldier. Trust me.
Yeah. I mean, I could see that as well. And that's why I think there's something, my question is, how necessary do you think it is for, like, psychologically to have a spiritually oriented framework to work in if you want to kind of like gain some sort of, self-mastery or peace of mind versus just kind of like what I feel like might be kind of sanitized, like.
I don't think it's necessary. I mean, I've known people that are very masterful at a lot of things that are atheists, materialists, or even my wife Penny is agnostic.
Okay.
My wife's a scientist. She did a lot of extensive research in university. She's a very scientific, very intelligent. She's a pilot. The woman that just dropped me off is a genius.
Yeah.
And I'm a guy that knows intelligent people and worked with some of the most rich and smart people on this planet. My wife is a genius. And she says, I'm happy that you love God, but God is not important to me because I can't prove the existence or non-existence of God. And she says, I've got important things to handle. Like, how are we going to pay the bills this month? And how do I manage all these employees and take care of these kids and make sure this farm is handled? She says, I will find out if God's real when I die, and that's fine with me. But in the meantime, I'm going to do my best to live a meaningful life and love as fully as I can because that's who I am. I don't need someone to take me to church to do what's inherently natural to me.
Okay. So that's interesting. So you really don't think it's like as crucial. I guess it's all person to person.
No, I think it's individual. The difference is religion is typically a set of beliefs that's closed. It's an ideology. It's a belief system. By definition, all belief systems are closed. Spirituality is an open exploration for the truth. So that's why I say spirituality is a progressive expansion of your sense of wholeness, to your connection to what makes you feel whole and what you are. So for example, spirituality, if you want a simple model, progresses from I-oriented consciousness. It's all about what I want, what I need, like a child. Gimme, gimme, gimme. Then you grow up to realize that you can't do anything meaningful in the world without relationships. So your consciousness evolves to we. And so instead of being self-centered, now you become we-centered. You say, okay, I can't just think of myself. I got to think about my wife and her needs, my boss, my friends, my coworkers, my teammates. Then all of a sudden you realize you couldn't be here without the food that feeds you, the water that hydrates you, the air you breathe. And you realize the car you drive is made by someone on the other side of the world. The computer you're using was made by someone on the other side of the world. And so you finally wake up to the fact that it takes the whole world to support all of us. And so now your sense of self and wholeness grows to embrace the whole world because you realize everybody's meaningful. Everybody's contributing to each other. And so you wouldn't buy into a belief system that was my group against your group because you realize none of us can get by without each other. Okay? So then you become world-centric. Well, then you progressively expand your consciousness and you say, wait a minute, could the earth be here without the sun? And could we survive without? No. What would happen if there was no moon to move the tides of the ocean? We'd all die. So all of a sudden you realize, wow, I was an earth-centered person, but now I've got to be a solar system-centered person. But then you realize, oh my God, the solar system's part of a galaxy and it couldn't be here without a galaxy. Then all of a sudden you realize you're part of a galactic family. And you go, wait a minute, the galaxy is part of the universe. So now you reach what's called cosmic consciousness, and you realize that all of it is a dance. All of it is a being that's alive. All of it is something so magical and so mysterious that all you can do is stand there and go, my God, it took the entire universe to create me. And I could give you the physics of the fact that if we scientifically analyze even the minerals and the elements in your body, I can prove to you scientifically that it took the entire universe to make you. And it's been done many times.
How? How do they do that?
Simple. You take the elements of the periodic table that are in your body, and you say, okay, where did that come from? Well, that came from the sun. That came from Mars. Okay, well, how did they get into the sun? Well, other stars exploded and collapsed into a sun.
Damn.
Through black hole, whatever model you want to use. And so you keep playing that game. So where'd that come from? It ends up reaching to the end of the universe.
It's crazy.
So what you realize, even scientifically, is it takes an entire universe to make each one of us. And that's just scientific fact. I don't care if you believe in God or not. I can sit you down and show you the research on it. And so, okay, if you're a scientist, here's proof. It took the whole universe to make you.
Yeah.
So what do you want to worship? Just one book?
Yeah.
I'm like, I think we can do better than that.
Yeah. So that you're saying that you're kind of, I guess, provide a modern roadmap for people trying to gain the benefits of a spiritual system without the pitfalls and the downfalls of like organized religion.
I'm simply saying, let's be honest with each other. Let's be rational. Let's be logical. Let's be scientific. And let's open ourselves to the mystery of the heart and ask honest questions. Who are we? What are we? How did we get here? What does it take to sustain us? And how many absolute mysteries are involved? I mean, science shows that if the conditions of the initial universe were even 100% different, we would not be alive.
It's crazy.
Right? When you look at the science behind this thing, there's, you either think everything's an accident and we're just lucky, which would be like standing next to a pile of rocks and hoping a Rolex watch jumped out, which would be a materialist.
Yeah.
Or you say there's some kind of intelligence behind this thing, and the biggest form of intelligence that we can come up with is a thing called God, because we don't have another name to give it. It just means something so wild I can't even put a name on it, so we'll just call it God. By definition, God means that for which there is no other. By definition, God is the only being that can create and sustain itself. None of us can do that, right? It takes a God to create and sustain itself. So when you really understand what the word God means, that's capital G, capital O, capital D. Capital G, little o, little d in Spiritism means the highest power of any belief system. This is why you've got a Christian God, a Muslim God, a this God, or that God. They war like hell with each other. Yeah. Well, I mean, what do you call someone that's at war with themselves? Crazy.
Yeah.
Okay? Well, the God I'm talking about, that for which there is no other, is not at war with itself. Look up in the stars at night. You see nothing but harmony and beauty.
Yeah.
It's when you're lost and confused down here and you worship a God that'll burn you in hell and has all these rules and regulations, you realize, okay, we need to reevaluate our idea about God. So that's the difference between religion and spirituality. Religion is based on belief systems that are closed, and spirituality says, I'm on an open quest to explore what it is that creates me and how I can have a healthy relationship with it, and love and respect the fact that everything that's here was created by the same intelligence and I'm part of it. So why not love and respect it? I love the Sufis are the mystics of Islam. If you really want to understand religion, you always got to go to the mystics, because they're the ones that broke out of the dogma and had their own religious experience. But the Sufis, the Sufi mystics say, there is no God but God. I worship everything and everyone. That is somebody that understands what God means. I got to go pee.
We'll do like a 10-minute wrap up, and I do have one more question for you.
Go for it, baby.
Are you, Josh, you recording? All right, so sorry, we had to take a pee break. My question is, and I think this kind of applies to religion, somehow organic farming, it all kind of ties together, where I feel like the reflex for kind of these like very restrictive religions and all this stuff, and even like kind of this like war with like weeds in the soil through like pesticides, it makes sense from like, if you think about our escape from nature, which was like a nightmare to live in the jungle, be getting mauled alive. Like you going back way, 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 way. That's the conception I have of it. It was terrifying.
Yes and no.
Yeah.
I mean, if you go talk to native cultures, it seems terrifying, but that was home for them. You see, if you go back to the point where we were living out in nature, we didn't see the animals out there as our enemies. We saw them as our family, and we had respect for grizzly bears. We had respect for poisonous snakes. We saw everything in nature as a being with its own intelligence. And so if you study native cultures, you'll see they studied these animals. They learned things like tool making from crows. I don't know if you know this, but crows have a brain that's as big as ours for body size, if not bigger. They have a language of over 400 words, and they have advanced tool making skills. And most people have no idea.
Yeah, I knew they could crack nuts, but I didn't know.
Oh, no, they can. I've seen film of crows hand-making tools that are very complex. They can make tools more complex than chimpanzees can.
Damn.
And they've got a language of between 400 and 500 words. Okay, that's pretty impressive. But the point is, if you're living out there with them, you would learn about how spiders weave things. You would learn about how birds put nests together. You would learn how bears fish. I mean, if you actually were out there in nature, you'd realize that each of these beings has a level of intelligence and is doing something in nature that is important. There is no accidental beings out there. So if you live in reverence and you realize that taking more than is necessary is a threat to the existence of another being, then you don't just go rape all the bees for honey and steal all the eggs, because then you wipe out your own survival system. So those people did not have this us against nature. They were nature.
Yeah.
And it's only as the industrial age began to come on that we begun to shift our orientation to man against nature, which is largely we want more space to do what we want to do, right? And we want to take these people over so we can do what we want to do. So you'll see that as our technology and our tools got more and more advanced and we got more and more scientific, we started getting more and more disrespectful to what creates harmony in nature and more I-oriented, more what do I want, not how does that affect the rivers? How does that affect the oceans? I mean, so if you take that to now and say, well, look what we got. We got a bunch of germophobic people that are scared of the dirt, that poison everything they eat, that wash their hands with antibacterial soaps, that have wiped out their microbiomes, that have brains that are collapsing, that have kids that are sick, that have constantly got to take pills, who are at war with each other, who have an organization called the CIA that says our work will be done when no one knows what the truth is. Well, when your government has an agency whose mission it is to make sure nobody knows what the truth, you have to ask yourself, well, have we gotten more or less intelligent?
Yeah.
Have we evolved or are we devolving? When we don't know the principles of nature and we're seeding the eyes with the skies with aluminum and barium and trying to control the sun, and we're making fake global warming by billionaires to make the rich rich and the poor more poor. I mean, we've gotten so far from the truth of what life is and what it's all about that it's going to, and it is costing us dearly. The United States last year spent $3 trillion to manage diabetes. That's one illness.
Damn.
One illness. The United States defense budget, which is the most expensive in the world, is $1.9 trillion. We're spending $3 trillion a year to manage diabetes, which is a problem of eating food that is not high quality, that has no nutrition, and eating too much sugar, which is highly addictive. Sugar has been shown by Candace Pert to be as addictive as morphine and heroin, and it's laced in everything. It's in bacon, it's in meat. We've gotten to a level of trickery in business and in politics to the point that we can't trust each other anymore. How much money is being spent to turn our iPhones into spy devices, to turn our televisions into spy devices, to turn refrigerators and vacuums into spy devices. The NSA, Edward Snowden showed us the NSA has been collecting information on every one of us all the time. Like, we've actually got an autoimmune disorder, right? We've got enough nuclear weapons to destroy the planet 179 times over. So we've become so afraid of each other that we're actually spending all our time, energy, and money to defend ourselves against each other while destroying the very support systems that keep us alive. So you have to ask yourself, who had it better, the natives or us?
Yeah.
Natives thought 7 generations ahead. As a general rule of thumb, native societies thought, if we do this, will it enhance or diminish the next 7 generations of our people?
Yeah, we don't do that, really.
We've got attention spans of about 3 minutes, and we don't think for 2 seconds about what's going to happen to our kids, or we would actually start paying attention to what we're feeding them and the fact that our education systems are absolute trash, and that we're putting pornography in the libraries for kids that are 3 and 3rd grade.
Yeah, they're doing that?
Oh, hell, all over the world. The globalists are absolutely dangerous as hell.
Yeah, that's the one thing I never understood, why we don't have physical education first thing in the morning in every school. It should be every kid should like run around for like an hour, burn off energy.
You realize there's people all over the world that are confused as to what a woman is.
Yeah, true. That's another problem.
Like we have used science to validate every drug that's killed 20, 30, 40, 50,000, 100,000 people, only to have it taken off the market. But it was all scientifically validated. So we've turned science into a corporate prostitution ring.
Yeah.
So all I'm saying is, if you really ask the question, was it that dangerous to live in nature when we had respect for nature and we lived in harmony with nature? Or is it that dangerous to live today where we're destroying nature and each other and call ourselves scientifically advanced? Well, as Steiner says, for every advance you make in science, you must make 3 advances in morality, or you will destroy yourself. Well, ask yourself, from the time we were living in nature to the time to where we're at now, how many advances have we made in science, and how many advances have we made in morality?
I'd say like 3 morality, probably like a bazillion in science.
Yes. And so here we all are.
Yeah, fuck,
watching
man.
each other all over the world destroy each other and calling ourselves Christians.
Yeah. Yeah, really. Well, God damn it, dude. That sums it up pretty well. I'll have to have you on again. I have like a million more
I
questions.
am at a
for you.
comedy store right
No, that's phenomenal, man. Thank you so much. Do you have anything you want to like? I mean, obviously, Spirit Gym.
MySpiritGym.com if you're interested in my mentorship program. CHEKinstitute.com if you want to see my education and all the online courses I have for various people. My How to Eat, Move, and Be Healthy book can be bought on Amazon. It can be bought at the Czech Institute. Our Holistic Lifestyle Coach Level 1 training program teaches you all the principles on how to eat, move, and be healthy, how to apply them in your life. So it's a public access program.
Mm-hmm.
And for those that want a career in holistic lifestyle coaching to teach other people how to get healthy and not spend all their money on managing diabetes and things like that, you would go to Holistic Lifestyle Coach Level 2, which is a professional training program. So it's like a career. And it goes from there. The Czech Academy can be explored there. That's our 5-year academy program, which is a mix of online training and hands-on training. And it's multidisciplinary. So we have medical doctors, chiropractors, osteopaths, nurses, acupuncturists, strength coaches, personal trainers, massage therapists, and people just changing professions. It's a fully complete system of education. My YouTube channel, where I have about 1,200 videos I've done for public service on almost everything, which I think you've seen is...
Yeah, that's how I found you, just watching those.
Right. So it's youtube.com/Paul, CHEK Live, Paul Check Live. So there's tons I put on. That's where I do my public service work. And say, look, if you've got plantar fasciitis here, this will help you. If you want to know how to get yourself healthy, do this. I've poured thousands of hours into doing that for the public. So those that can't afford me or want to get a taste before they spend money can go to YouTube. And my podcast is Spirit Gym with Paul Check.
Okay.
And there's over 300 episodes with the greatest minds I can find all over the world. Scientists, doctors, metaphysical experts, religious experts, health experts, you name it. I go for the brains and the great ones that have good results and I believe are worth listening to, and I interview them, and I do comprehensive long-form interviews. And for those that want the extended play, they can be a member of the podcast. So you can go to paulcheck.com, sign up for the podcast membership. I think it's less than $8 a month. And so I do the public portion of the podcast is usually somewhere between 1 and 2 hours, depending on the length of the guest, the length of the topic. Mm-hmm. And then the second half is for the members, where we do what's called the deeper dive.
Gotcha.
So I've got a lot of stuff out there. I've written 11 books, and I'm just now finishing a series of 15 volumes called Welcome to Spirit Gym, which is about 3,000 pages in total.
Damn, that's awesome.
Yeah. It's taken me 4.5 years of hard work to build this program, and I started developing it 10 years ago because I saw the world was in deep trouble and it needed to understand some of the things we just talked about today.
Well, dude, that's awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate what you're doing. When I started watching back in the day, I was like, oh, it's nice this guy's out here.
Yeah.
Somebody gives a shit about stuff.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks
for sharing. Great questions, by the way.
Thank you, man.